And we are live. What's good, guys? What's good? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. Super late edition. I doubt if any of our day ones will be up this late. It's 2:20 a.m. on the East Coast. Starting to get late on the West Coast as well. I was gonna do this in the morning, but man, I just want to just get this off right now. I'm gonna be quick about it, guys. I'm gonna be quick about it. We're talking about the shooting in Minneapolis that occurred over a day ago now. I guess coming up on 2 days. And again, like I said earlier, when I put something out, like I just want to wait and see what comes out, and we're just gonna keep following this as it goes. What type of investigation is gonna be. It was supposed to be a joint state and federal investigation. Looks like now the FBI is just not giving any information that they had. They're not sharing it with the state. So it's just an FBI only investigation, which that's no bueno. That's no bueno. But hey, that's what they're doing right now. So let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. It's some indeed. Like I said, I'm not expecting a lot of folks to jump on this stream. I'm not going to be on for that long either because I'm tired. It's been a long day. But I definitely want to get through this, pretty quick. And I have to be up early this morning. Still got to take my daughter to school. Still got to do what we got to do, Friday. And we're going to definitely pick this up again. But like I said, initially, this was going to be a joint investigation with the state of Minnesota and the federal government. FBI is on the lead on this investigation into this shooting. A federal agent, an ICE agent, shot a woman, civilian, U.S. citizen, and she didn't survive. So this is definitely a thing. It's a problem for the feds, and the the current administration is really doubling down on this and saying a lot of things that just aren't factually correct. So you got this divide. You got the people who are, hey, this side was wrong, and then you got the other folks that saying, no, that side is wrong. What I mean by that is you got people who are just like, no, the federal agent was wrong, shouldn't have done this. And then you have people saying, no, the civilian was wrong, she should have followed instructions. She brought this on herself, that sort of thing. I mean, it is what it is. Where you are with this, just leave some comments. Let me know. I mean, not a lot of folks are worried about speaking out. Like I show my face, unlike the ICE agents who are out there. Like I'll say what I have to say. I have no problem showing my face, but I get it. I'm retired. I can do these things. I can take these risks, and it is a risk. So you have people out there behind their keyboards, kind of like keyboard warriors, and they want some anonymity and anonymity. I can't pronounce the word right. They don't want people to know who they are. So go ahead and clown me for that. It is what it is. I'm tired this late. I ain't making no excuses, but it is what it is. So I get it, but be respectful in your comments though. I mean, someone did lose their life. This isn't a joke. This ain't, what I mean? Ain't nobody playing no games here. You see how serious this is. So, for those folks who are like, oh, this person deserved it. Nah, bro, like Clint Eastwood said in that movie, man, Unforgiven. Deserves got nothing to do with it. Ain't nobody deserve nothing. Ain't nobody deserve to go out like this. This ICE officer is gonna have to deal with the consequences of his actions. And it looked like old boy was wrong. There's no other way to put it. Looks like he didn't follow procedures. So we're gonna get into that. We got this video queued up. This is ABC, I believe, and they're talking to a former FBI agent and we're gonna get to hear them go over tactics and stuff like that. Us, one of my biggest pet peeves with law enforcement is their training, and in my opinion, a lack of quality training. Of course, you're gonna see that at the low end, with your local PD and all that, state police and all that. When we get to the federal level, there's an assumption that there's more training, there's better quality candidates who, they got to go through some sort of, selection process, and it's hard to get the badge, but it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem that way. And when I saw the video footage of what went down, to me, it just looked like a frustrated person with a gun talking about the federal agent who decided to fire. I didn't really see the threat. I just didn't. Again, I don't have any background in law enforcement, but I have background in military. Where we've did some things. I've, been in harm's way multiple times in military, and then just being at home in the streets, like growing up, being in the hood, bro, it's dangerous out there. Been in plenty of situations where okay, this is life or death, or this is, average just fight stuff, or this is nothing. And when I'm looking at the video, I'm not going to say it was nothing, but I don't think it raised, to the point where you're going to have to, use deadly force. So let's listen to what this FBI agent has to say. And yeah, spoiler alert, I'm probably going to agree with this FBI agent, but let's get into it.
Joins me now as we're learning more about this shooting. Rich, Minnesota investigators say they have now been barred from taking part in this. We know that the FBI is leading the investigation. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually a little surprised by that. Not the fact that the FBI is leading the investigation. We've done many of these investigations in the past. I did them when FBI and other DOJ agencies were involved in the shootings. So we would do internal or shooting investigations. But also, whenever our agents were involved in shootings, NYPD was involved. The New York State AG might be involved. The fact that the FBI and the feds are investigating this does not bar a local state agency or prosecutor's office from doing their own investigation. They may not have the same access to the ICE agent to some of the forensic information, but they can definitely using videos, using witnesses, through subpoena power, they can do an investigation. So again, I'm a little bit surprised how the local authorities have stepped off this investigation.
I mean, we can see right there that this doesn't seem to follow the normal protocol when these sort of things happen. If you got a federal agent who's involved in this horrific event being investigated by the feds, now that in and of itself doesn't mean that the FBI is going to be burning up evidence and intimidating witnesses and all that. It doesn't, but it just doesn't look right. Right. This is when you want to put together teams like, all right, we got state individuals involved, we got local individuals involved. We're gonna put together, a task force, for lack of a better word. We're gonna get everyone involved so this thing can pass the smell test. It's like, all right, it doesn't mean that, because at the end of the day, law enforcement is law enforcement. Federal level, local level, state level, it doesn't matter. They're cops, right? And cops do look out for cops most of the time. Like, my favorite cop is internal affairs cop. I like them. I like the cops who go after cops. But generally speaking, when you have a group and something goes wrong, people circle the wagons. You guys know I'm a retired air traffic controller. When things will go wrong, air traffic controllers will also circle the wagons. They'll look at things and they'll, okay, they're gonna tend to give the benefit of the doubt to the controller. Not to say that they're gonna throw a pilot under the bus, but they're gonna really be looking at what the pilots did. And okay, the controller did everything they're supposed to do by the book. That's when they get real technical. Let's go in here and look at this, verse and phrase, and like, this is what the controller said. That's what he was supposed to say. That's what she was supposed to say. Done. Let's move on. Nah, let's keep going. Let's keep. So, but that's why when controllers get into a situation, the NTSB sends out a team And that team has pilots and engineers and air traffic controllers and also admin people. It's like a group of folks that come in there. So one side can't just strong arm the whole investigation, right? So that's just how that works. So when I see this, like, okay, the FBI is involved, it's just the FBI. It's like, oh man, I don't know about that, especially now where everything is so politically charged. So we want to find out what went wrong. Something absolutely went wrong here. This is not supposed to happen. How can we fix what goes wrong if we're not upfront and honest and transparent when we do the investigation? So let's continue.
So investigators they're going to go through all the video evidence that is now coming out, including all the different angles that we've seen of this shooting. I do want to show some viewpoints here and get your reaction, but I also want to warn viewers that this can be a bit disturbing. So let's go ahead and start with the first video.
No! No! Oh my God! What the? What the?
Okay, now I want to show you a different angle, which the administration says clearly shows that the woman.
They're gonna show this other angle, guys. I'm just gonna mute it. We can watch the other angle without the sound. You can see where the vehicle, in that angle right there really shows you where the vehicle, impacted the agent and pushed him. But the wheels of the vehicle obviously were turned away from the guy because the vehicle didn't go directly into him and over. Like, he didn't get run over. He got pushed by the vehicle, obviously. But man, if you ask me, if the question is, could that agent was it possible for that agent to avoid the impact with the vehicle? The answer would have to be yes. First of all, it just appeared that the agent placed himself there, which, okay, you shouldn't have placed yourself there. That's just a bad tactical position, period. But he placed himself there, and it's not like he was up against the wall or other vehicles were forcing him to be there. He could walk away, like just get away from that, position, which he wound up doing. But he discharged his weapon. That just doesn't seem right to me. Again, I'm not law enforcement, never trained with law enforcement. I don't know how they get down. But even if that was a hostile engagement and I was there with my team to neutralize that potential threat, and one of my guys got in front of the vehicle like that, when it was all over, I'd be screaming at him like, what are you doing? It's not how we train. Not supposed to do that. That was dumb. You could have got yourself hurt. You know what I mean? Now, put the rest of the team at risk because you out here playing John Wayne. But anyway, let's listen to what they have to say. And another reason you don't want to take a shot at somebody like that when they behind the wheel driving is because look what happened after the rounds were fired. She was obviously hit. Look what the vehicle did, how far that thing drove. If the person behind the wheel of this SUV intended to run someone over and got, pops, the vehicle would have continued along the path that they wanted to go. So in other words, if they're trying to hurt you, the vehicle would have kept going right at you. This is why it's dumb to stand in front of someone who's behind the wheel of a vehicle, fire at them, because if you hit them in their foot, a lot of things happen when someone gets popped, especially in the head area. And allegedly, this woman was hit in the face. So a lot of things happen. Like, your body does a lot of crazy things. Sometimes you go limp like a noodle. Sometimes you kind of freeze up and stiffen up like a board. Your foot's already on that accelerator. You stiffen up. We saw what happens. Vehicle accelerates like crazy. It didn't stop till it hit something. Now, again, if this person was trying to engage with another human while behind the wheel, they're trying to run their vehicle into someone and their wheels are pointed at that person and you hit them with your rounds, right? They're still going to drive straight ahead. That you've endangered yourself for real when it's just a bad tactical position.
Now here's some of that video.
And before I forget, through the fire, Podcast in the building. What's happening, man? Let's show you some love. What's happening, fam? Where we at? Where is the button? Here it is. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in so late at night or early in the morning, wherever you are in America. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.
Slowed down. Richard, what do you see?
So I see that actually there's a first agent who goes up to the car and puts his hand on the vehicle. And is telling her either to stop or to get out. And I forget what he actually says, but you can see he's touching the vehicle, and then the vehicle starts moving while he is touching it. And then the second agent is the one that pulls his weapon out. He's standing a little bit in front of the vehicle, and the vehicle is coming at him and then veers off a little to the right once the shooting begins. So that the agent who is involved in the shooting, he actually pulls his gun out when she starts to move the vehicle, and that other agent is holding on. Now, there's going to be a lot of review of what we've just seen and a lot of discussions with the ICE agents. But what was that agent thinking?
I mean, just looking at that video while this former FBI agent is talking, you can see that ICE agent who placed himself in front of the vehicle. Right, let me put this on mute. Let's see if we can just run this back. You can see the guy bracing himself for impact. That's what it appears to me. It appears that he's bracing himself for impacts. I think I hit the wrong button. Yeah, I did. I hit the wrong button. There we go. So he's bracing himself for impact. So let's look at this again. You see it's in slow motion. You see this agent who did the shoot. Look at it right there. He's moving his legs back. The car impacts him. I mean, it hit him. It hits him. I would say it's the equivalent to a strong punch, maybe getting hit with a bat or something, not full swing, but at least a swing. Look at I'm just trying to find a good analogy. It's like getting hit on the football field. There you go. So like you can see that ICE officer positioned himself in front. You can see that he's braced himself for impact. Have his weapon out. He's braced himself for impact. He knew the vehicle was coming. So I would argue, like, instead of bracing himself for impact, why didn't he just get out the way? Right? At that point, like, why didn't he just get out the way? Right? So look at that, guys. Like, you see, boom, he get hit. He's getting pushed by the vehicle, but he decided to draw his weapon and fire. Like, look at this. So he's normal stance. He's put himself in front of the vehicle. He hears the vehicle revving. He moves his feet out the way, right? He kind of leans into it, maybe to kind of soften the blow a little bit, maybe to keep his feet from getting underneath the vehicle, perhaps, right? You see that. Why didn't he just back all the way up and get out the way? Why didn't he just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of back away. You know how the defensive backs kind of back away and, run backwards a little bit. Why didn't he do that? But so they're going to ask him in court, why didn't you just get out the way? Why did you want to fire? That's what they're going to ask. Oh, we got Brother Glenn in the building. What's good, fam? That seems, and y'all saw what Glenn is saying. Like, Brother Glenn's like, well, why did she just listen to the commands given? She didn't want to, right? She didn't want to. And that's going to come up. She engaged in a criminal act. That's going to come up. But now, as well as I do, it all boils down to rules of engagement and what you were thinking and when you thought it. This dude's got it. Like I said, the Fed's got a problem. The Fed's got a problem. And I think that this FBI guy is going to cover it, but there's a procedure that I'm under. There's a procedure that ICE use that that is a procedure that covers this sort of thing. And I think he's gonna. This former FBI agent is probably gonna get into it tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about this again because I do have the procedure. I copied it in my phone, but my phone is charging downstairs. But part of the procedure says when you're dealing with this sort of thing, it spells out when you can engage with deadly force. And I could be wrong again. I'm no expert, but it doesn't look like the conditions were present in this particular instance for this ICE officer to engage with deadly force, draw his weapon, and fire like he did. I mean, if you want to jump up, you know what, we could do it because I wasn't gonna stay up too late, but man, I'm about to put the link in here so Brother Glenn can jump up. And yeah, it's gonna be a late one. It's gonna be a late one. I can see it already, bro. But yeah, we could definitely do the contrarian thing. 100%. There's the link. Jump on up, fam. You know it's all good. Jump on up. And matter of fact, I'm gonna pin the link to the top if anyone else wants to jump in here. I'll let you say your piece. Just do me a favor if you're gonna jump on. When you're in the back chat, and I'll ask you, like, just show me your face. You don't have to have your camera on if you don't want to when you come on the panel. But before you come on the panel, I definitely want to see your face, make sure you're real. Just to avoid any problems. Sometimes, we get the weirdos that come out and want to just be weird. But yeah, man, he definitely braced himself. It appeared cool, bro. That's what's up. It appeared that he braced himself for the impact. They're gonna ask him, and the investigators are asking him now, what were you thinking? Why didn't you get out the way? This and that. And this is the problem with just the FBI being involved in the investigation. Are they going to coach him? Are they going to allow him to stop, the questioning and talk to his whoever, that's there with him, and they can come up with a story like, hey, can we come back tomorrow? We're about to go work on our story. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. You just hate to see this, man. You just hate to see this. Let's continue with the video. Let me turn the audio back on. All right, here we go.
On other news casts is that the agent who is involved in the shooting, the actual shooting agent, he might have been involved in another case where somebody was dragged and injured. And if that's, in fact, something that happened to him, that also goes to his state of mind as to why he would react the way he did in the amount of time that he had to react. So all of that's going to go into the assessment that's going to be made as to whether this agent acted within the scope of his duties, was basically protecting himself or other agents from serious physical harm or death.
And that's definitely being reported that this guy that was involved in this shooting was involved in a similar incident where he was dragged by a vehicle. I want to say last summer, last June, last July, something like that. Was hurt pretty bad. I saw this on Megyn Kelly. And then also I read about this in the CNN article that I just read a few hours ago. So now the question for me becomes, was he ready to get back out there? Is he still suffering from some sort of trauma, PTSD or whatever? Brother Glenn, welcome. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. Good to see you too. I just got back from the gym. This story, it's funny because I have
flexing. Just flexing. Just
trying to get back into the shape, man. Just trying to get back into it. It's been a minute. But it's crazy. It's like when we talk about what should the ICE agent do, right? Should he have backed away? But he is the one that is giving commands here. They're in a threat force level. Civilians have to, abide by the legal system here. And if they're the law, they're the ones that are trying to detour you or trying to remove you to a different place because something's going on over here. Your best position is to obey, right? So for her to we could say armchair quarterback, oh, he should have stepped out of the way. she should have just listened to the commands I was given, right? Like,
I hear you, but as American citizens, and if I'm, and this is just me playing devil's advocate. I'm gonna start with that. Playing devil's advocate. You know, I want to agree with you before I get into devil's advocate. People, if you're watching this now, if you're watching this on Team Replay, if someone wearing a badge that's law enforcement, and you believe them to be law enforcement and not some criminal who's dressed up, and they have their weapon out, or they're out there in force and they're giving you instructions, I suggest you listen to them. They're giving you commands, I suggest you listen to them. If they're breaking the law, if they are violating your civil rights, if they're violating the Constitution, get them later. But in that moment,
do it in court.
right?
Get them in court.
Get
You
them
know what I'm
later.
saying? You're gonna hurt them by the purse. You're gonna get a lawsuit. You're gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna walk away. You get to retire. Cool. You do it that way. But so okay. So I'm reading the under DHS aligned federal law enforcement standards reflecting the DHS components of published policies. Deadly force is permitted only when necessary, i.e., when the officer has reasonable belief the suspect poses an immediate danger or of death or serious bodily injury to the officer or another person. You're using a couple ton-pound vehicle. That to me is immediate bodily injury.
Now, if you, that's pretty much standard across the board law enforcement from coast to coast. If you continue on and you look, and I think they updated their training in 2023.
Yeah, this
When
is it
they
right
cover-
here. The updated procedure department-wide in 2023 to be equivalent to or exceeds the DOJ requirements, including clarifying that deadly force is not to be used against someone whose actions are only a threat to themselves or property.
Now, when they talk about people in the vehicle, and it's in there as well, it talks about, it's the part where they're not
moving vehicles
they're
are
not
special cases.
Right. If they're not to, they're here. It's like two scenarios when they're to use deadly force. One, the person is actively in their vehicle mowing down people, i.e., is a crowd. They're going after the crowd. People have already been hit and whatever. Then under that circumstance, they're like, yeah, go ahead, fire your weapon. Two was if the person is believed to have, a boom boom, because I want to stay away from the algorithm.
Yeah.
So if they're like, a boom boom, a self-deletion type style thing, they're trying to do away with a whole bunch of people, then you're supposed to fire your weapon. And also in there it states something about, outside of that, you should, if you can, remove yourself from the situation, right? And not fire, not engage. So that's what they're going to be arguing in court.
So it says right here, right? Moving vehicles are special cases. Police policies generally instruct officers to avoid placing themselves in the path of vehicles and restrict firing at operators of moving vehicles to a situation where deadly force is truly necessary. An imminent threat, not merely just fleeing, the vehicle because the vehicle is fleeing. So if he's here, if I'm talking to him, the person in the car, and they're coming at me, I could back up, but it doesn't mean to be out of the way, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the trajectory of how, you don't know how far you're gonna have to back up, and can you back up enough in time to get yourself to safety is another question.
I would say again, this situation here, it appeared to me, especially when he appeared to brace himself for impact. In that same moment, again, we're
armchair quarterbacking.
In that same moment, instead of bracing himself for impact, couldn't he just backpedal out of the situation? One, and then two, more importantly, why put yourself in front of the vehicle? That's a bad tactical decision off rip. And the guy's a 10-year vet with the alleged. I'm not doing that, bro. I am not putting myself. Know what I mean?
Maybe he's trying to give her commands, right? And normally, okay, you remember this: speed bumps out. Okay, then you had the speed bumps. You're standing there, stopping in front of a moving vehicle, holding the vehicle, right? So the pedestrians always have the right of way. So if you're walking, you technically always have the right of way. If you're in the field of the road, you have the right of way. The operator of the vehicle has to stop and has to yield. So even then, even if it wasn't a law enforcement, even if it was just a pedestrian, this person would still have to stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Which brings us to the next point. You said the yield portion. That's going to come up in the court too, because again, he couldn't have seen this. He was too close to the vehicle. I don't think he saw her turn the wheels.
Exactly.
However, she did.
Yeah.
Right? She did turn the wheels. So this is going to come up in court. And again, this is why it's such a bad tactical decision to get in front of a vehicle, because if those wheels were straight, I don't believe this woman was trying to harm this man. I really don't. But if it was her intent, after he fired off those rounds and scored that hit, or however many hits, he would have.
It looked like it was only one. It looked like it was like one shot. It looked like it was one shot. Wasn't it?
He hit. Allegedly he hit her with the first shot, but he fired 2 more. I think he fired 3, maybe 4 shots.
Okay.
The first one, they say it was the one, but he fired multiple rounds. He reholstered his weapon. He didn't pursue the suspect and take the suspect into custody like you're supposed to. There's a lot of things that didn't happen. And again, I'm not, and I've never been.
I mean, the question is like, are we like, are they mad about the loss of life? Because I think that would ultimately be her decision. She could have.
Where you coming from? Yeah, she could have. Again, she didn't have to engage. And we don't know what happened leading up to this. We don't the way her vehicle was parked. Was that intentional? Because there's stories out there saying, well, she was stuck in the snow. The ICE agents allegedly were stuck in the snow as well. It was icy on that. That's another thing too. It was icy out there, because they could argue. If I'm on their team, I'm like, hey man, we're gonna.
She floored it. She lost traction and then spun out and then.
Well, even on his side, if I'm on the defense team, I'm gonna say, hey, bro, you wanted to get away, but you couldn't because you were standing on ice.
Exactly. The roads are icy. It's not like I could like sprint back. I have to,
I wanted to. I had to brace myself because I was standing on ice and I didn't want to slip and fall under. So again, and I don't think that happened, but that's what I would.
But at the end of the day, though, when it comes down to it, there's commands that he's giving her. Right? Why didn't she just obey the commands?
Because she didn't want to. Here in America, man, you have a right to break the law.
Okay, cool. You walk around and you find out.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. That goes both ways, because he failed to follow procedure allegedly. Yeah. They're gonna argue he failed to follow procedure. Now,
what procedures have they clearly stated, or they confirmed that he failed? Okay, so they don't even know what procedures he may have failed.
Right. Just the stuff that we discussed, it's gonna come out, bro. It's gonna come out because here's the problem. You engage with a civilian, that civilian is no longer with us. You fired your weapon, no one else fired their weapon. Right, you placed yourself in harm's way. Okay, you're being a good cop. Maybe you being or you being overzealous. And then you got the whole thing like this just happened to you, bro. Like what, 6 months ago or something like that? You just
I mean, he has a history of this, of issues like this with the civilians taking place. I get that. My thing is more. I mean, it comes down to personal accountability. At the end of the day, that's where it comes down to. It comes down to personal accountability, right? I look at it from her standpoint. Like, what could she have done differently to avoid that outcome? Is she deaf? Is she hard of hearing?
No, bro. Here's the deal. I hear you. I'm not. I'm playing devil's advocate, but at the same time, there's more burden placed on him, because you have to prove. Well, yeah, you have to prove that you're.
But I mean, if you look at it just like this, she has a vehicle, 2-ton vehicle that could even going slow could do a lot of damage to a person. Right?
Bro, if he got up under that car, if she just even turned away from his ankles, could have got up under there. I hear you on that. I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you got to look at what have these ICE agents been under. Like, they have been under literally a war, like a modern warfare, like a guerrilla warfare with people. So if they're told like, hey, be vigilant, don't hesitate, anticipate, and
that's the problem. I mean, that's a problem. Me and you both have been in situations where the rules of engagement say we can't fire until you hear that zip pop go swinging past your ear. And sometimes you can't even fire them. So, when I hear this kind of thing, and because to me it's like, well, I'm in a bad situation and I had to do something. Bullshit, bro. Bullshit.
you-
I'm gonna have to call. I gotta call bullshit on that, fam.
Yeah.
Unless the rules of engagement specifically state we're going out here and we're bodying civilians. That's the problem. And like
Well,
you said, to
what
use the
are
analogy,
the-
like
What are the rules of engagement? What were the rules of
we
engagement?
don't know. That's the whole thing. We don't know. We won't know until it comes out. Now, and here's the thing: if you want to use the war analogy, right? Law enforcement is extremely outnumbered and outgunned. And I don't care where they're rolling up on. I mean, bro,
Yeah.
look at this, man. Look at this. They can't even carry this. You see this behind me, Glenn? Like, look up.
Oh,
They
yeah,
can't
yeah, I
carry-
know.
They can't even carry that. They can't. It's too heavy. They are not allowed to use that for whatever reason. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what you need to knock somebody down. So, you know what I mean? They're outnumbered. They're outgunned.
Yeah,
And they're
I
out
mean-
here. And my thing is this: you don't want to lose the people. Just because I was trying to get to this point. You want to make the war analogy. What happened to us in Vietnam? What happened to us in the Middle East? We lost the people.
Yeah.
And
We
why
lost
do
a
we
lot of
lose the people over stuff like this? You know what I'm saying? America for Americans. I hope you're still out there. Welcome. I'm glad you popped in there talking about the lefties, lunatics, and all that. And then the lefties say the same thing about the people on the right. And I
mean, both
hope
sides
we
are
can get
both
past
sides
this.
have their extremists. Like, I mean, honestly,
They
both
do, bro.
sides have the extreme.
They do.
Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I've always said I'm on the side of the truth, so I really don't care what side. Like, I don't line to a side, align to. I'm on the side of the truth. Whatever the truth is, that's the side I'm going to be on.
Yeah.
But just from like the little information that we have about this case here, it's hard for me to be like, oh, I feel bad for her. Like, I mean, I feel bad she lost her life, but I don't necessarily want to condemn the law enforcement, because I've been in situations, you've been in situations, like, you had to respond, you had to react, and people are like, oh, well, why didn't you do this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
It didn't occur to me in the moment. I was trying to get out of the situation.
yeah, like, I was trying to survive. I'm trying to live.
I
You
got
know,
the
like,
situation. And I ain't gonna lie to you, because I'm purposely taking my time on this. And I tell folks up front, like I said it here, and I'm gonna say it again. I am biased, right? I do have a problem with law enforcement to the extent that I don't like it when they don't seem to follow procedures. And I don't like it when you got the super cops out there, because I've dealt with that too.
yeah,
I dealt with everything we
them
dealt with.
top flight security
Exactly.
of the
Them
world,
dudes.
Craig, of the world.
Of the world, them dudes. So and it's like, hey man, so I'm trying my best to let me, like Megyn Kelly said, let me stay yellow light on this.
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly, like she said, when it comes like Venezuela, which we gotta talk about because I got you here. You know what I mean? At some point we gotta talk about that. But she's yellow light on Venezuela. She's not green light like Fox and them. She's like, she's not red light like the lefty media. She's like, I'm yellow light until I see what's going on, get some more information, because
I think
this
the
is not
whole
what they want.
reasoning of Venezuela is just like the bullshit, like, excuse, But I mean, tactically, like, I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't because of the drugs, okay? It was because of oil. We wanted those mineral rights back. We were drilling mineral rights.
Well, it's that, and you want China out of there. China was
Yeah,
slowly,
'cause
you know what I'm saying?
You don't want the yen to become the currency that we're trading oil on. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, just be honest with me, though. Be like, look, we're gonna go over here because China's about to do some shit, and we want to make sure we stay a superpower. Cool, I will believe that. Don't tell me it's about drugs, though. You guys know damn well you don't care about no damn drugs.
And the fact that ain't none coming out of there coming to America. All the product coming out of Venezuela is going into the Caribbean and off to Europe. None of that's coming over here. That's all the stuff that comes to this country comes out of Mexico. A little bit comes out of Colombia, and then all that fent comes from China through Mexico.
Yep.
So I'm with you on that. It's like, come on, man, ain't nobody believing that. But
all right, so I just pulled up right here. This is for Minneapolis. What was actually applied in Minneapolis? DHS ICE baseline use of deadly force. DHS components, including ICE, operate under a department use of force policy that, per contemporaneous reporting summarizing that the DHS memo permits deadly force only when an officer has reasonable belief of an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury of officer or person. Fleeing or escaping is not enough by itself. Moving vehicles generally prohibited unless the threat standard is met. This is the key issue in the Minneapolis incident that drew national attention on January 7th. The shooting of a moving vehicle is generally restricted unless the situation meets the deadly force threshold. And as of reporting right now, it met the deadly force threshold. For comparison, DOJ published a policy often used as the gold standard reference points in these debates. It is explicit that a firearm may not be discharged solely to disable a moving vehicle and allows firing only under narrow conditions. The vehicle is being operated in a way that threatens death or serious injury, and no other objectively reasonable defense exists, including moving out of the path. So, as you mentioned earlier, it could be icy, right? The roads are icy. He's slipping. He doesn't have can move out of the path quick enough. That would be reasonable.
Again, we're not gonna, like, the court is gonna hash this out.
Yeah, we're not.
I hear what you're saying, because what you're saying sounds reasonable. Again, when you add the element of ice, icy roads and all that, but what the officer, the agent, is gonna have a hard time explaining is, why did he place himself in front of the vehicle in the first place? That's if I'm forget the media.
Yeah,
forget court.
Now, could he be? Could he have been approaching the vehicle? How much of the video do we have? Do we have, like, the vehicle doing whatever, the driver doing whatever, and then he comes and approaches the vehicle? Because if he's approaching the vehicle for any specific reason, right? Maybe he's trying to give her commands. Maybe he's even trying to help her out, like, with her stuck in the ice type of thing. Who knows?
It appeared he approached. It appears that he approached because the other agent walked up to the door and tried to grab the door. So he placed him. It appears he placed himself there in front of the vehicle. I'm gonna run this video for you.
Yeah, let's run it back. If we can run it back.
Let me run this video. I'm gonna turn the audio off. So let's check this out.
All right.
Here we go. So this is okay. That's the second angle. Let me find the first angle. There's another angle. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I got it. Give me a second.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. So you see right there. So
all right,
you're saying what happened before that?
Yeah. So
you want to know what happened before that, right?
Yeah. So officer comes up to her. There's obviously an incident. There's obviously something going on prior to this. You have one door open with the other car. Yeah. So they're trying to stop her. Whatever they're doing, they're trying to stop her from moving.
Here's the deal. She was kind of blocking the street, and she was waving some agents by. And then these two guys got out of the vehicle to the left of the shot that's out of the frame, right?
Yeah.
Then we got this other vehicle here. I think the shooter came out of the vehicle that we're looking at right here. And he positioned himself in front of the vehicle.
So the question would be, like, it could go back a little bit more.
I'm gonna let it play all the way through.
All right, cool.
I'm going. Yeah, this is as far as there's another video out there that shows more, but let's watch this. You see guys slipping all over the place.
Yeah, okay. So let's look at this. Like, I'm gonna try to.
He positioned himself in front of the.
So he did, though. But here's the thing.
In front of the.
Here's the thing. She's already not obeying commands. Another officer is trying to stop her from moving. He's approaching the vehicle. You should stop. Listen, okay? She chose not to listen. A cop is approaching the vehicle to be assistance to his team, and she speeds off. He just happens to be in the way, right? And as you already seen, one of the guys fell down, who wasn't even near the vehicle because of the ice. So it's like, I think it's reasonable to believe that, like, the way that they operated is look, see. I think I think he responded tactfully. I think it was good. I think it was a clean shot.
I don't think so. I think I think
Where
that
do you
he
think
placed
where do
himself
you think it is wrong? Where do you think he did wrong?
where he placed himself in reference to the vehicle that this vehicle was running. You got the driver there. You got commands being said. Now and again, I haven't heard this, but there's reporting that there were conflicting orders being given to the driver. People saying, there was a guy saying stop, get out, but there was another guy saying get out of here.
Oh, so
One of the
like
other officers
you had one officer telling her to stop the vehicle and the other officer telling her just to leave the scene.
just leave the scene. So now again, hey, if you guys are watching this, that has not been confirmed. It was reported early, and we all know most of the stuff that gets reported early is wrong. Right.
So I got
but
a video that
will it let you send it to me?
yeah, I mean I'll put the link in the
Oh, cool.
descriptions
Put
on
the link in
YouTube.
there. Yeah, I'll grab
Yeah,
it.
let me copy it real quick.
Give me the link.
Yeah.
So
So here we go. I'm gonna
again,
put it in the private chat. Here's
okay,
one.
go back there. Let me find. Got it. Hold on. Let me move the stuff around. I ain't that fancy, but move stuff. Let me get rid of that.
Is it
All right.
my computer is
Give
running
me a
slow, or is
second.
it
I'm gonna
yours
pull
that's
this
running
right up.
behind? Do you have a lag, or is it me that has a lag?
It's probably mine. It might be me, bro. This system, I pay for the highest upgrade for the speed and whatnot,
Yeah.
but I think I
But
still
it
got a
could be
lag.
a RAM.
I
It could
think it's
also be
me.
a RAM. Like if you have like a bunch of
I
stuff
apologize
running.
for that. Everybody,
No worries. Just blame it on Florida's internet.
I got a few things running. But definitely, bro. Definitely. So let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, because I
Definitely
definitely
gonna
got a
blame it on
lag.
Florida's internet,
You're like a
bro.
few
We
seconds
down here
behind
in
me
the
right
bowels
now.
of the country. Oh man, it sucks. My bad.
No worries.
Here we go.
Is that bad in Orlando too, or is it better in Orlando? I need to know before I move out there.
Central Florida is pretty rough. No, I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right in Orlando. I know you'll be all right. So here's what you
I'll
sent
tell
me. I got it
Yeah,
muted.
yeah.
Let's just watch the video.
Yeah.
Want me to stop it?
What's that? So I'm just looking at
Fine.
this.
Okay, this video, I like this video better because you get a better
Yeah, it has a little bit more
So he
playtime.
placed himself in front, and immediately it looks like he's drawn his weapon. Yeah, he's drawn his weapon already, bro. You see that? He's already drawn his weapon.
But look, go back 5 seconds. Just with the back arrow. All right. Officers approaching.
So you got the two officers walking up.
Yeah, but see, we don't know where
Right? He
he's
got out of
at.
his vehicle. Yeah, he
But
got
no,
out of his
there's
vehicle, so he's circling towards the front of the vehicle.
okay. So he's trying to move into the flanking
What are they
position.
blocking out?
Her license plate.
Okay, that's what. Okay, so you see where he is in that right there. You see him.
Yeah.
He's placed himself in front of the vehicle. She's moving back, and the other ICE agent is touching her door. This guy is telling her clearly to get out of the vehicle. He's telling her
Yes.
to get out. Right. So now watch. We're gonna let this play. Watch how fast. So the ICE agent who did the shooting is about to draw his weapon while she's still in reverse.
Is it she in it?
See that? And
Well,
he,
no. Is
he
she in
fires.
reverse at that point? Is she in reverse at that point? Is the question. Because
She
he's
was
approaching.
she was in no, she was in dry. She was she's in reverse.
Now she's in drive.
So yeah,
So I mean,
he pulled
that's
his
really
weapon
close.
right as she was putting the car in the drive. Yeah,
Yeah, that's real close. And you know what? That's if any.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Any other scenario, we would say that is great reflexes. We would want our guys to have those type of reflexes quick to you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a hard one because it's like, sure. I mean, I wish we could see if he actually hopped out of this vehicle. Because if he hopped out of that vehicle and then came around that way, it makes sense why you're gonna. I don't know why he didn't walk around the back behind it or go up to the passenger side of the door.
exactly.
Why would he be in the
Why
front?
place yourself in front? Exactly. He's already
that-
set up
I
in
mean-
a flanking position. If he came out of that vehicle with the door open, he's already in a flanking position. There's no need to go in.
He is.
He's on the opposite side.
Yeah, no, he is. But the question, okay, the question is the commands that that are given to her are to stop. Obviously, you see the officer trying to approach her, get the door open to get her to stop operating her vehicle. She's obviously disregarding the commands that are being given here, right? And what do you expect them to do? You know,
this is again my biggest problem with this is the agent placed himself in front of the vehicle.
I've had cops when I've got pulled over before, you know, I had cops like standing in front of my vehicle, you know, on the radio, you know what I'm saying? Like running things that also had cops behind it. Most of the time it's safer when they're behind it because if you do run off, you're not going to get hurt, right? But I'm looking at it as maybe he thought like, okay, a reasonable person, if somebody's blocking their way of driving, they're more likely to abide by the commands. Because the last thing that a reasonable person would want to do is get a vehicular manslaughter, charge on them if they don't have to, right? So this woman's frantic. Maybe she's acting a little irrational or whatever. Okay, maybe if I just stand in front of her and maybe she'll start listening because the other officer's already trying to open the door. Maybe if she sees I'm blocking her way,
I still think it's bad tactical position. I think that's a bad tactical decision, especially coming from a guy with 10 years. This guy's supposed to be a 10-year vet doing all these, special tactic things. I think that's just a very bad tactical decision. Then it's icy out there. The roads are icy.
That's the other thing though. Like, you don't know how much of the ice that he may have to walk around. Cause where he was parked, he was in the snow. He was in the thick of it. Right. So like maybe he had to walk, that way. We don't know we're not there. We don't know the conditions of the road. And I guess again, if you are giving split seconds, he didn't have a whole lot of time to react. It was, she's not listening. She's going in reverse. The officer's trying to open the door. And then you saw how quick she put that thing in drive and she went for it. So
yes. And again, here's another thing that bothers me about this. None of the other agents on scene drew their weapons. He drew his weapon, he fired. The vehicle then guns it, right? Because she obviously stepped on it, she seized up is probably and goes until he hits some vehicles, right? Hit parked cars. He holstered his weapon right away. They didn't rush over to where the car was.
That is the problem. I agree with that. That to me, definitely a problem. When it comes to oh, dude, okay, so I got this other video here. I'm gonna send it to you. It shows a little bit better. Here, I'm gonna send it to you. I agree with the tactical positioning, but then again, we don't know what. Maybe he didn't even think that she was gonna gun it. Maybe he thought she was gonna back up into the snow. Who knows? We don't know what's in his mind. But him drawing the gun first and nobody else drawing the gun, are we gonna punish him for actually being high speed?
Well, it's not even the punishment for being high speed part. Why is it no other felt threatened enough to draw their weapon? You just heard shots being fired. And why is it they didn't go over to secure the suspect? At least get her out
I
of the
agree with that
vehicle.
part.
If you worried about this person,
I agree with you on that part. They should have
so
gone
that's
over,
the
secure the person, and see if there was any way they could like preserve life. Okay, and because that's training.
That's another thing too, is being right. So you gotta complete the circle. You gotta, secure the. Now we got a crime scene, right? Now we got a crime scene, right? You gotta secure this thing. They said that there was a there's been reported that there was a physician, one of the people part of the crowd was a doctor, and they refused to allow the doctor to go over
because
to
it's a
this
crime
real
scene.
collar victim.
It's a
Well,
crime scene.
But she hasn't been declared. You still
Somebody says
here's the-
they're a doctor doesn't mean they're a doctor. Are you
But
going
here's
to
the-
be able to check their credentials?
if they got them on them, I'm at least gonna ask. But here's the thing. They didn't go check on her. They didn't render first aid. Allegedly, nothing happened for like 25 to 30 minutes waiting for the paramedics.
That is way too long. That is it should have been seconds. Like, okay, you shot her, car crashed. You're immediately going over there trying to render any type of aid that's necessary. Because again, preserving life is key. Right.
Well, is that? But in my mind, I'm thinking I want to get over here to remove this person from the vehicle because the vehicle is allegedly the deadly weapon. Let's remove her from the vehicle, and now now we are secure.
That's the other thing too,
right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do when you got combatants laying around and their weapons are laying around, man? Go secure those weapons.
You secure the weapons. You move them out of the way. You make them no longer a threat. And so, just because the vehicle crashed, you do not know if that vehicle is no longer a threat.
Thank you.
She could still
be in there, put it in reverse. Exactly.
And then just bowl them over in reverse.
Exactly. And the point, so you see my point being made here. No other agent saw this particular woman in this vehicle as a threat except for the shooter. That's the point I was trying to make here.
But see, that just means one or two things, right? One, these other officers were incompetent. I mean, the way that they're hiring, the requirement, bro, our old asses could go get there and go get a job right now with ICE if we wanted to.
I know.
Okay.
That's crazy, bro.
But I mean, our old asses at our age are still better than a lot of these young Thundercats today, though. So.
Yeah, it's true, but still, there's no way we should be able to get out there and get in the trenches, bro. I'm sorry. I don't care what you pushing in the gym right now.
All right, let's watch.
I don't care what you pushing right now. All right, we're gonna watch the other one, and I appreciate you guys in the chat. I really do. Welcome, most of you guys. I don't, you don't look familiar, but I appreciate you guys coming over. You are all welcome here. I'm not what you would consider a hardcore lefty. I am center right, center left. I just got a problem with what I see here. And you can hear that the brother Glenn and I are really talking about procedure. I mean, that's what we're really talking about right here. We're just discussing procedure and the things that we see wrong.
Both of us have been there. We both already have experience in it, so we've already lived this life.
We know we gotta be gotta be idiots, bro.
We're idiots.
I mean, okay.
I mean,
that's fine.
the training.
I'll be idiot.
I mean, the DHS has already acknowledged that they lowered the standards of training a couple of years back. And the standard, so I mean, you could think that with the expediting of the recruitment that they're doing, that training may not be the best of training that they could have had. They may be just good enough, but it may not be at level. I mean, when I was working at the federal prison, man, when I was at the federal prison at the CO, we had guys that were passing the physical and the hand-to-hand stuff that we did that shouldn't have passed it. This one girl sprained her ankle because she fell back, didn't do a fall correctly. They still passed her.
Now you got to get watched out for that, or at least retread.
Yeah, she couldn't do any physical training. She couldn't even do any of the physical testing. They still passed her.
It's all about standards, bro. The lack of standards. So here we go. Let's check out the video you sent. Here we go. Bro, right away, when he walked up to the door, he slipped. Did you see that?
Yeah.
When he walked up to the door, he slipped when he grabbed the door.
Yep. See, now who's this person? Who's this person on the right? That's what I want to know.
This
Not that guy.
that's the talking head. This is a CBS
not,
one.
not,
I
not,
think.
not
That's just the
him.
talking
Not
head.
him. And now he's a former ICE agent. So I do want to hear what he has
Oh,
to
you
say
talking about the other
this.
officer?
No. The person, watch, play it back. Go back a
All right,
little
I'll
bit.
back it up.
You'll see this person on the right.
The person who jumped in, yeah,
Right there. Just stop right there.
we'll go all the
Right
way
there.
back.
No, right there. You see that person
Oh,
on the
my
right
bad.
with
We'll
the
just
beanie?
start from here.
Okay. Look for the white beanie or like the beige beanie.
Yeah. That's one of the women that were in the crowd. That's one of the people. Again, they had no real control of the scene. She was
Oh,
up on the
wow.
vehicle. That might have been the wife or whatever of the woman who got popped.
Oh, she get out of the vehicle.
Right?
She's like,
So
I'm
she's
out.
on the scene as well, which she's in the line of fire. No, she wasn't in the vehicle. She was just in the crowd and walked up while all this was going on. We don't have what happened before.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
before all this, it was a crowd. She was there, right? So, but here's the thing, bro. She's in the line of fire. First of all, look where she's standing.
She is in the line of fire, but that wouldn't mean that the officer wouldn't fire.
But I'm just saying, bro, what are we doing? Like, this is why they don't want you firing on moving vehicles, because you just don't know where these rounds are going to go. But again, and the reason I bring that up again is to me is like it's a failure to adhere to the procedures.
Well,
and that's
we
my
don't-
big
oh,
thing.
I think that's what we don't know. Is it a failure?
Right.
Now, at the end of it, I will definitely say yes. There was a failure to secure the vehicle, to make sure that this individual will no longer be a threat, right? Like there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
we
dude
didn't see
holstered
any
his
walk-
weapon. He holstered his weapon right away. No,
which is part of procedure.
yeah.
Are you still with me?
Something
Are you
like
still
this
with me?
always happens to black folks. It happens. It happens. The thing is, it happens to white people more. It just doesn't make the news, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, when you pull up the stats,
Yeah.
and the reason why I feel comfortable saying it happens to white people more is because there's more white people in this country than black folks. Like, we don't get to see all of the craziness that's going on in North and South Dakota and Wyoming and all that kind of
Well,
stuff. It just
because
pops
like
off.
it's only sensationalized because of race.
But race has but here's the thing though. Race has a place in this. Like, race has a serious place in this.
I am not denying that. I am not denying that whatsoever. I'm saying a white cop shooting a white guy, it's not sensationalized because it's not racially motivated. They're not going to assume that it's racially motivated.
Yeah.
We always had to. Here's a problem, like with where things are at today, is that we want to assume that everything is racially motivated, or it can never be that the person that got shot deserved it. Like, they were wrong, they were obeying commands, and then the officer did what was necessary. It can never be that. It was because he was black, or because they were a Jew, and I won't not say they were Jew, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
there always had to be some reason other than the fact that the person was committing a crime.
Yeah, I hear you. And I mean, because they got to sell stuff too, but there are, like I said, I grew up dealing with that. I grew up dealing with the bad cops. Now, there were more good cops out there, but how come I always came across them bad cops? You feel me? And it's like,
No, I hear you. I grew up in LA, like, walking down a certain neighborhood, I'm tatted up from the neck down, that. And it's just like, they don't see me as a former law enforcement. They don't see it. They just see tattooed guy, biker looking. He's problems,
Yep. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, Charles Knight, I feel you, bro. Like, everyone knows never to drive towards law enforcement, especially if you're gunning an engine. You know what I mean? I get you. That's where Glenn is. Like, she could have just listened. She could have just followed the instructions, followed the commands. But like I said, bro, this is America. Like you shouldn't get popped in the face over something like this. I'm thinking. I mean, again, that's just me talking. We don't have any.
You shouldn't get popped in the face if you were in the right. If you were exercising your rights, you shouldn't get popped in the face. But when law enforcement are giving you commands, you are to obey those commands. As you mentioned earlier, take it to court, win a lawsuit, whatever. That's how you win. But you first obey the commands. If the law enforcement are doing something injustice, if they're breaking procedure, that they are wrong in the wrong, then you beat them in court and you sue the shit out of that department, and then you come out a millionaire. All right. But you do not use the vehicle or whatever you're using to potentially harm somebody, because they're gonna react. I don't see how they reacted bad. That's all I'm saying is that they reacted. Okay, when I was approaching an inmate or somebody that combated, I'm giving them commands beforehand. Why? I'm testing whether they or not are going to be compliant. What is their compliance level? Hey, turn your head to the left. Put your hands behind your back. These are all before you get there. Why? You're testing their compliance level. How much of a threat are they going to be? If this lady is not obeying commands and these officers are trying to get her to stop her vehicle, and to the point where they're trying to physically stop her vehicle and she's still not obeying commands, she is saying, I potentially will threaten your life. And the officer reacted accordingly. I just generally speaking, yes. In this instance, no. I mean, in this particular instance, I really don't like the fact that the guy placed himself in front of the vehicle. That's just, like I said, terrible tactical decision. Sure, I could agree with that.
But
we don't know the road conditions. We don't know the road conditions. Okay, let's just say it was a perfectly sunny day and the roads were perfectly good. I'll be on board with you on that. He put himself in a bad tactical position. Sure, we don't know what was going on there. We were not on the roads. We don't know how slick the ice was. We saw the guy slip when he tried to approach the vehicle. We saw the one guy slip as he was coming up to the vehicle. So we don't know. And the response time, he didn't have a whole lot of response time to move out of the way as he's walking forward, as she's going in reverse, and all of a sudden puts it in drive and floors it. He didn't have enough time to react, to move out of the way.
And she didn't floor it, but she was moving at a good rate of speed. Like she bumped him good. She bumped him good. You know what I mean? And Brother Charles, ain't no black people there, man. Look at the conditions, man. We don't protest in that kind of weather, man. You know what time it is, but we need to get out there and protest, bro. It's just a lot of white folks out there, bro. I'm not.
It was all white folks out there, That's the thing that gets me. I'm just sitting here like, why are you getting mad? The whole ICE thing. I don't understand why people have a problem with exercising or enforcing our laws and our borders, right? Now,
I can tell you. Go ahead, you go, and then I'll go.
Okay. So, because out here in LA, you've been out here in LA, you lived out here. We know that there's a lot of people that have come over here illegally throughout the years, right? Here's my biggest problem with it. My biggest problem is a guy came over here 30 years ago illegally, right? Never got a citizenship, but he owns a small landscaping company, bought his house for his family. Other than that, he's a law-abiding citizen. He pays his business taxes. He's not a leech on the economy. Get that guy to the front of the line. Don't send him back. Like he's been here more longer than he's been over. Like he's from there. So like in that sense, because of the administrations have not enforced the laws, they have been so finicky that sometimes they enforce them, sometimes they don't enforce them. They have not been consistent enough. Don't make that guy go back. Make him go to the front of the line, make him pay a hefty fine, and then let him, get his citizenship or whatever.
I don't think you're gonna like what I'm about to say.
What are you about to say?
Because I got a different opinion on that. Brother Charles from LA, he was like, yeah, black folks out here. Look, it don't get it.
Well, bro, because it don't get cold enough out here. It don't get cold enough.
It ain't 20 degrees outside, bro. I remember LA got down to 36 degrees once. Ain't nobody come outside, man. All the gang breakers in the house like, nah, bro, it's too cold to be out there thugging, bro. They in the house.
You know how rare that is? Like I just
It's
rode my
extremely bad.
motorcycle
I
to
was
the
there, it's
gym.
like
It was like 50 degrees. It was not that bad.
it's not that bad. So and when you get out here, man, forget about it. You ain't never gonna see it even that cold. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we had the coldest cold spell in Florida in about 20 years last week, man. It got down to 40, 42 at night. Dead at night,
That's what,
42.
see, I
That
was
was the
out there.
coldest it's ever been.
I was there in June last year. I met up with Aaron Reed and Gia McCool. Because you know that me and Gia have a show together now, right?
No, I didn't know that. Oh, that's what's up. We'll talk
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'll talk about it later. And so like I was like, man, because I'm scoping out the area because I'm about to move out there for the show and stuff. And it was nice. A little humid though. I'm not gonna lie. I was sweating before I even did any exercise. I was like, how is it like?
Bro,
Man,
it ain't nothing little about the humidity out here, bro. I'm just letting you know. Ain't no such thing as little humidity. It's big humidity. It's big homie humidity out. He on your back. As soon as you get out there playing, he on your back. So let me talk about what you just said about immigration, illegal immigration.
Okay, yeah, let me hear this.
So here's the deal. I hear you. Guy comes over, you know, illegally, but maybe he missed a program. He could have got his papers or whatever, or maybe he came over to marry somebody or fell through whatever. Good person, starts a business, you know, salt of the earth kind of dude, pillar of the community. But here's the thing, bro. He's illegal, man. I'm
No,
sorry,
I hear
bro.
you. No,
That's
but the problem
thing.
I have is that the administrations, you had one administration, Biden telling everybody, come on over. You know, like we got you. All right. And then the next administration is like, oh, well, no, it's a crime. There's been so many inconsistencies. Nobody's upholding the law. Nobody's enforcing the laws currently on the books consistently. And that's where I have a problem. That's where I say we should give some grace. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if they're not causing any crimes, if they're not a leech to society, like they're not on welfares, they're not like abusing the system, then give them grace, a fine, a penalty. Yes, they're still going to pay a penalty, make it a hefty penalty, but sending them back, like, that's where I'm like, I don't know.
I think they should go. I think they should have. The reason I say this is because that's what the law says. If you entered America illegally and you get caught, you have to leave. If you entered America legally and overstayed, well, that's different. That's when you get into fines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you came here illegally and you get caught, because my thing is this, bro. If you're gonna be out there, you know, you in the streets, you breaking the law, bro. You get caught. That's just how the game is played, right? That's just
I agree.
Period.
Now, like I said, the only reason is because the lack of consistency through the administration. If the administrations have upheld the law and enforced the law as it is written on the books, I'm with you 100%. Send them all back. It's the fact of you have some presidents and some administrations were very lax, and they pretty much decriminalized it, right? They even encouraged it. And then what now? It's like having two parents, and one parent is not the consistent parent with the discipline, and the other parent, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have this confusion.
Yeah, I get it. So then that brings us to how they're enforcing it now. Like again, the pendulum is all over the place.
Yep.
There are multiple ways to handle this, right? And this is one of the things that Trump polled really high on, like handling immigration, handling the border. But this is where it went wrong, because a lot of people, especially on the right, like the hardcore folks, they believe that all these criminals are here and we're just overrun with all this. ICE went out there and within 3 weeks, a month, they got all the criminals, because it ain't that many of them. They got them all, bro. They got them all.
We're out here in LA,
bro. A lot of those criminals are homegrown though. So, you know what I mean? You can't.
I'm just saying, like they were lighting cop cars on fire out here, bro. They were dropping Molotov cocktails over the overpass. Like,
come on, they do that when the Lakers win a daggone. Bring one home.
We have it. The Lakers, no. Now, if the Clippers would have won, that would have been something else. Okay.
Dodgers win, they start burning stuff. Come on, man. But my point is this.
You're thinking of Philly. You're thinking of Philly. Philly's like that for sure.
All the big cities are like that, bro. They be wilding the hell out for no reason, But I don't want to get off the point. The point is this: I think the way ICE should have done it, like they went out initially, got the people they had documents on. Okay, we got these people. I wouldn't have been sending them to foreign countries. I would have out-processed them. You get the judges lined up. You do the thing. Get them out of here. All right, cool. right? And then they started just going after anybody. Now they're just out in the streets. 2,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis, St. Paul, bro, in the Twin Cities, and they
Well,
out there
come
doing
on.
this.
There's
This
there's
is
a
what
little
they're doing.
difference, but there's a precedence there. Okay, you have a lot of people coming over from Canada that were foreigners from Somalia and other places.
Yeah, I get
That,
that.
that so ICE does have a responsibility to remove anybody that's not supposed to be here legally.
By walking down it again, the way that they're implementing this is not cool. And this is where they lost the people. This is why we're having these conversations now. I don't think it's that hard to just do some good old-fashioned cop work. And
But
I
when
think
you,
the way
when you have the governors and you have like the mayors saying that their cities are sanctuary and that they're going to disobey the federal mandate, that's a problem. So now
take the federal money away, like they was talking about doing. Take the federal money away and sit back and watch what happens.
I think that might be more problematic. I mean,
For who?
you're not enforcing the law. You just said that the laws are on the books. So the laws are on the books. So if you're here illegally and the federal government has the right to send DHS and ICE agents to obtain or detain those illegal immigrants and out process them, right? Then that's what should be done then, right?
But brother Glenn, they're not coming in with documentation saying we have a warrant for the arrest of this individual. They're coming in there, walking down the street, snatching people. That's what I'm talking about.
See, I haven't seen that. All I've seen is like the protests of
Bro,
like
it happened on Sunset at the when they pulled up in the truck at the Sunset hardware store.
But you're talking about like the Home Depot?
Yes. Thank you. Couldn't think of they pulled up in the truck. Come on, man. And they did it in Van Nuys too.
But what did they end up getting though? They end up getting a lot of illegal immigrants.
How many is a lot, bro?
Enough to the warrant to the rest. They did a good job. They got them out of there.
We need to find.
So by principle though, if it was 1 or 1,000, wouldn't the principle still be the same?
But my point is this: you can still get those folks without these dramatic tactics. You can just use paperwork. We have warrants. If you come in with the warrants and then the state wants to not honor that warrant, okay, we're taking the federal money away. You know, we're going to put some pressure on you different ways, right? I mean, you got to put the pressure on because Americans wanted this. Americans wanted
America
this.
wanted.
They didn't want this though. They didn't want what we're seeing now.
You're right. They didn't want this. They wanted their state leadership to fall in line and obey the federal laws. And when the state leadership in these democratic cities chose not to, no, we're going to be sanctuary cities. Right. Now you have a problem.
When you get out here to Florida, you're going to see something.
I've seen a lot.
You're going to see something because when Florida realized how much it was dependent on the migrant, workers and the undocumented workers, bro, they're out here doing these sweeps. Oh, and bro, they know where they are. They're barely doing these sweeps down here.
Didn't Trump say, well, we're going to take them except the agriculture workers,
exactly. Except for the people doing this, and it's bro, again, they didn't have a plan. I don't know if Brother Charles Knight is still in the chat, but he's right about the Democrats, man. The Democrats know how to mess up a wet dream, bro. They did. I can't believe the Democrats' numbers are so low, bro. Like, how do you screw this up? Like, MAGA is giving them softball after softball, and it's swinging and miss. Well, between Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, man, they are just god awful. But because he's talking about black people shouldn't be backing them, and I agree. But
I agree. I mean, what have the Democrats done for the black people, black community?
Well, really, that's what Charles is saying. Nothing. I mean, nothing much. I mean, there's programs out there, but here's the thing: when Doge came in there, they got rid of a lot of those programs. But now they're going to get rid of a lot more programs because of what happened with the Somali, wasteful spending.
Was it $8 billion? $8 billion.
How did they not see that? Again, that's going to cause a whole bunch of good programs to get nixed. So, Democrats know how to mess up a wet dream. You couldn't ask if you're a Democrat and you're looking at this stuff right here. It's like, bro, what's going on here? and you still can't win votes. And the Democrats' biggest problem is they alienate men, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and that's
they're
what
never
did
gonna.
you see what Newsom did? He's smart. I hate him. I don't like him, but he's smart. You see what he did at his public address or his governor address, whatever.
Talking about
was
taxing
rolling-
those and mega.
No. He was rolling out his men and boys program.
Ooh, that sounds gay.
I mean, it was to help the men and boys that are falling through the cracks because California is experiencing most men they're the ones that are unemployed. They're not getting any assistance. They're the ones on the streets. And he's like allocating so many hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of like several years for programs to help men and boys like get off the streets and stuff like that. So
that's a great program. I mean, like Newsom is a very cunning politician. I got
he's a
people
con
keep
artist,
asking,
but
that's what I mean. Look who's in office now. I mean, you look at this dude. Like, what's Newsom doing? He's following the playbook of Donald Trump. Look, he's promising everything. He's listening to what people want. He's watching social media and he's giving them exactly what they're saying they want. And that's Donald Trump 101.
But he's doing this to try to avoid. You know what people wanted? We want to know where the fuck our bullet train is, bro.
That ain't never coming, bro. Where'd that money go?
Where did all that money go?
Where'd that money go?
Okay, why we only got like 2 miles of track? We got 2 miles of track. What's
up with Elon's tunnels? How much money did he get for that? Remember them tunnels supposed to be going under LA? What happened to that?
They're probably already there. Who knows? Elon be quiet about his stuff. Elon don't be telling everybody his business.
Bro, and I look at like you look at like 2028. People keep asking like, bro, who's going to be the next president? I'm like,
you got to worry about 2020 or 28. You got to worry about 2026. Okay, because
come on. Okay, let me hear this. What do you got to say about 2026, bro?
Because
November. What do you got to say about November?
Yeah. Because right now this is midterms. Midterms are going to determine whether or not Trump is going to be a lame duck or not. And is he going to be able to do anything or finish what he set out to do? And if not, if he's a lame duck, he's going to be shit. It's all going to be bad.
Bro, the Dems might take control of the House before we even get to the midterms with all these Republican MAGA people walking away. I don't even know what's up with that. Who is this? Who is this new Marjorie Taylor Greene, and what happened to the original one? Like, I think that the lizard people got to her, bro. Like, what's going on?
Or she finally showing her true colors
on some Machiavelli type shit. Wow.
Hey, women are women are Machiavellian. Come on now,
yeah, bro. And my thing is, again, like I look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was never a fan of her politics, but
neither was
this
I.
new and improved version of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm like, okay, I can get behind what she's talking about. She's talking about.
I just don't know. I don't know which one is real though. I really don't know what's the real version of her.
And Brother Town, we don't know. Did they even have body camera? Not to jump back on the originals. Are these ICE agents wearing body cams, bro?
Probably not all of them. Honestly, if anything, is probably going to be a sergeant's going to be having the body cam, mainly because they're not going to be able to distribute enough body cams. I don't think.
They can have them all wired up. They just don't want to. But brother, I don't think, to answer your question, did they release the body cam yet? To my knowledge, no.
Actually, I'll look for it right now. I'm gonna look for it.
And the FBI is in charge of this investigation. If there's body cam footage, the FBI has it. They're not gonna let it go. And the FBI is not even working with the state on this. They're like, it's like, okay, we're not again gonna share our information with our investigation with you guys. So that is fishy. I don't like the way that is jumping off. But
I mean, I lost hope with the FBI.
Yeah, man, that's your man. That's your man Patel, bro. That's your man. That's your man's in them.
That's cool. No, Cash is not my homie. Okay, like me and him, we got problems, bro. Like I need you to stop taking the jet to go see your girlfriend's, shit, bro. Like I need you. Don't be bragging about it if you're gonna do it. All right, kind of pissing me off, like.
Bro, like what are we doing, man? That is so stupid, bro. Like, all right, but Cash, I have no. Yo, real quick, just give me real quick if you can, as quick as you can. What's going on with the Charlie Kirk thing, bro?
Okay, so I've been following this a lot. I've had conversations with Ian behind the scenes. You know, there's a lot of stuff that it just to say that like what's his name? Tyler, whatever his name is, the shooter, alleged shooter, right? Did he have no involvement? I think he does have involvement. Obviously think he has involvement there. Is he a patsy? I don't know. Could he have been radicalized by someone else? Probably, right? Who is the what radicalized them is the question, in my opinion. If he shot it from the, was it a 308? No. What was the caliber supposed to be? Because if you seen the caliber, like
what was that? It was that Mauser.
yeah,
I thought it
that
was
should've
308,
taken
but
out-
it might have been one of those off crazy calibers.
I think it was a 308. Like that should have taken out his head, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not, and then with Candace is releasing a lot of stuff. She
Taking
just
out a
released
chunk of, like the majority of his neck.
and Candace released the footage, a shot from the other day, from the shot from behind Charlie, the moment of impact. You see his head like this and no blood, right? So it's there's a lot of questions, and unfortunately for Turning Point, the way that they've handled everything, because they were not forthcoming with all the information, I think that they could have. They have opened themselves up to an investigation that's actually going a lot further. Like there's a lot of Israel talk about it, right? There's a lot of money. Like they're finding out some pastors that were part of Turning Point or underneath the Turning Point faith or whatever movement have ties to being busted for child petty stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, bro. Like the PDF file stuff.
Yeah. And it's just like, yo, like this is exposing them. So I don't think we're ever, and this is the problem why I said I have a problem with the FBI. This should be a clean, think about this. They don't got a confession. This guy never made a confession. Now, his dad said that he told him that he did it. But there's no, like, we don't have no evidence that he confessed during an interrogation that he did anything. And the most we got is circumstantial. How do you arrest somebody with very flimsy evidence? That to me is just, there's a lot of questions. You know,
I mean, you can be arrested and held on. I mean, they got him. They had the weapon. I guess they tied the weapon to him. It was his granddad's weapon and all that. I haven't really been following it because that's not our thing. You know, when it all happened, I'm like, man, this is sad, but you know, black folks ain't got nothing to do with this. And then black folks didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, and then they started
saying, "Oh, he's a racist."
They didn't like what they found. I got a conspiracy for you guys because, you know, a lot of folks like conspiracies. And I was sitting around thinking about this the other day, and I was going to hit you up too. I was like, hey, man, I got my tinfoil hat on. I got a conspiracy for you.
I love the conspiracies. I'm about to show you one that has to do with this too. But go on. I'm gonna pull this up here in a minute. But go ahead.
Here's the thought I had. What if Charlie Kirk
is alive?
He was going over everything, like everything he said. He was going over his rhetoric, and because Charlie Kirk talked to everyone. He really did talk to folks. He really did want to learn. What if he had an epiphany? It was like, you know what? That is some racist shit I'm saying. I don't necessarily agree with that anymore. I'm reading these other numbers. I'm talking to other people. I think that I want to come out and say that everything I was saying was wrong. The Republicans, the 1%ers, you know what I mean? You know, the little hat people, all of them, they really are running the world. And the rest of us are getting jacked at the bottom. And you guys, you know, what we should do is we should come together and let's take back America and let's get America back into the hands of the little people. And that'll be enough to get somebody to want to clip you, bro. Because he was the young Republican Party.
Well, so did you hear that came out like that? They were gearing him for running for president or VP again, like 2030 something. Like exactly. He was slated to be a potential, like he was being groomed. for it.
and he wielded all the power. He had young America. The
Well, he
Republicans were getting a resurgence because of
single-handedly
him.
he single-handedly got Trump elected, many would say, because Trump did not have young America.
He did not. And so again, this is my theory. Like Charlie Kirk was like, hey, looked at what he was doing, started thinking about his legacy, and he's got a kid and all this. He's like, you know what? This is hateful. I need to change this around. I need to work with folks. It's the same thing that happened. My man,
But like,
was,
okay,
the Black Panther.
the question would have to be like, what was he saying? Was it untruthful? That's the big deal that I'm concerned about. Like, if what he said was untruthful, I could get behind that. But if it wasn't untruthful, then
I think it was too harsh one way. To sit there and say, oh, I see a black guy in front of the airplane. I see a black pilot. I hope he's qualified. He's looking at stuff like, and again, this is all theory, guys. This is just a theory. I woke up one day with this in my head. I was like, oh, I got to call my friend Glenn and give him this crazy ass idea I just had, but it was just a theory to go from, now, you know what? The dudes up front, both those guys are qualified. The air traffic controllers. I'm a retired air traffic controller. When he said that shit, like, I wonder if that black pilot's qualified. I'm like, what about all the black air traffic controllers that's controlling those airplanes, bro? Like,
he ain't worried about that. He ain't worried about that.
Exactly. So, but my whole
you know what? He saw that Denzel Washington movie when he was a pilot, and then he was drunk.
So my whole
he was like,
yeah,
oh, wait a minute.
That's crazy. But my whole point was, as powerful as he was, and as powerful as he was going to be, and the fact that he began to say no to the powers that be and was not taking money, and he was not saying things that they wanted to see, maybe there was some sort of change. Maybe he was like, hey, you know what? I'm about to flip the script here. I'm about to do this. And again, if he was going to go and really expose those dudes like he started to do, bro, man, that's going to make somebody mad. Like, we're going to do something about this dude.
So share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you something. This is what I still want to have answered. Okay. I published 2 books with Amazon. Well, 3 if you can't consider Thor's book. I published that for him too. Both of these books, right, came out on the 10th. That means they were Amazon takes at least 72 hours before to process your documents for your books. It has to go through a thing that they go through a process. After you submit everything meets the standards for the books, the format and everything, up to 72 hours before it's released in live on air. These 2 books came out on the 10th. That to me means premeditated.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's my
a lot of times,
hat.
Yeah, that's your tinfoil hat moment.
I'm like, well, it's like, this is unexplainable. Like the day of his shooting, these books come out. Somebody make sense of that. Make that make sense.
I mean, bro, like I said, man, maybe there's so much going on, but I think, like I said before, when it first happened, when things like this happen, people just don't want to acknowledge that a weirdo with a weapon and some luck can do something horrific. And I think that's what it boils down to. It just makes more sense to some folks that no, it couldn't just be that. It has to be this elaborate thing.
Do you think Oswald shot JFK? Thank you.
Think he could have. I think here's the thing: the magic bullet theory. If it weren't for that, if there was no such thing as the magic bullet theory, then I would say, yeah, 100% Oswald did it. Marines can shoot, bro. Even a Marine who's a bad shot is better than 98% of the world. Marines can shoot.
I mean, I get that, but I mean,
but my whole thing, it could have done it. But the magic bullet thing, that's when it's like, no. And then I saw I saw which way the JFK went. I'm like, that round came from in front of him and didn't come from behind, but he did get hit from behind. I mean, I think it was a couple teams. I think it was 3 teams out there. I think Oliver Stone was on to something.
Oh, okay, so then the narrative that we were being fed is not accurate.
Possibly. I think that Oswald was unaware of the other two teams. I think Oswald was there, and then they had two other teams out there.
Sure.
And
But he
Oswald
wasn't the
didn't
lone
know,
shooter. He wasn't the lone shooter.
but he
Just
didn't
like
know it. But I'm just saying he didn't know he wasn't. Maybe he thought he was, and then when he realized what was
that
going
wouldn't
on,
matter. At the end of the day, he wasn't the lone shooter, and they're trying to sell us the story that he is the lone shooter in this, right?
Oh, 100%.
Just like so, just like to say, I'm not buying the narrative so much that around Charlie Kirk either. All right, there's way too much circumstantial. There's way too much question marks around this, and really, you know, you got Charlie Kirk finding out that there's a lot of money being moved in his own company, his own organization, and he's started his own Doge, like, and then all of a sudden now he's out, right? Even the way that him and his wife met, like that story's inconsistent. She tells 3 different stories of how they met. I'm like, which one? How did you meet your boo? You don't know how you met. Which one is it? Is it you met him in Israel? Was it a job interview? Well, which one is it? Come on, Shawty, you should know this.
Man, they met at the booby trap, bro. They met at the body shop. They met at Penthouse somewhere. She was, you know,
she
next
was
on
a
stage,
model.
Destiny.
Like, I mean, well, she was a bikini model, pageant model for Trump. I mean, to say that like all this makes sense to me, like no, it doesn't make sense. Could it be as simple as, you know, yeah, this guy had a hard on for Kirk because of where Kirk stand with the community that I'm not going to name. Sure, could that be the case? Absolutely.
I think it could have been multiple things, bro. Same thing, like, you know, you brought up JFK. You know, okay, you know, why? It gets into the why. If JFK had not been assassinated, we would not have been in Vietnam, right?
Yep.
The Bay of Pigs
Johnson
failed
did all
because, yeah, the Bay of Pigs failed because JFK refused to, you know, escalate and give them the air power and send in the troops that they had standing by for the invasion of Cuba, right?
Mhm.
So, and then what his brother did to the mob, just those 3 things, right? Just those 3 things is enough to, again, have somebody very powerful people want to clip you, because it's like, bro, you changing what we're trying to do. You messing with billions of dollars, right?
What do you
Same
think
thing
about
with Charlie Kirk.
What do you think about the Israel angle? How much do you think of that is at play here? Maybe not so much with Charlie Kirk, but with the politics in general.
I would say that the Israelis are involved in American politics as much as the Russians, the Chinese, the Brits, as everybody else. And then we got someone like Donald Trump in office where he literally has a menu of services. You know, 2 million gets you this, 5 million gets you that. You know what I mean? 50 million gets you whatever.
I don't know. I mean, like,
100%, bro. Come on.
okay, come on.
Trump
Okay,
doesn't care.
Think about this. Like, the what went down in Gaza, right? With what Israel was doing in Gaza was wrong. It did, you know, constitute war crimes.
Absolutely.
You know, from what, and we're like, oh yeah, we're cool with this.
Bro, here's the thing. We've always been cool with what Israel did and does, but that was extreme. Now, again, to answer your question, I don't think that, you know, the Israelis are more in than any of those other countries I named. You know, I think all they're doing is they got to end.
You think Russia got they got pulled like Israel do with America?
I think Putin had that pull, and then he pissed Trump off with that Alaska debacle.
That was a bad move. That was
Right,
a bad move.
right. And the invasion of Ukraine, think about it. Like, Trump was on board. Trump was still trying to get the Ukrainians to bow down and just give up the land that the Russians had already taken.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think Putin had that pull until he didn't. So
See, okay.
you know what I mean?
I look at that as a totality. Now, I think like the main reason why America backs Israel so much is because of a religious thing. I think that there's this rhetoric that came out, you know, back in the 40s about, you know, Israel's the holy nation. So if you're a Christian, you need to stand with Israel. And it's kind of been the common theme. You know, most presidents have either been Catholic or some form of Christian. And, you know, it's just been the narrative, like, we stand with the holy nation or the Holy Land, right? But you know me, I have my theology degree. So I actually took that to task. And the Bible's really clear that the nation of the holy nation is the body of believers in Christ. So it's not Israel. It's not the 1949 or 47 secular state that was established. You know, that's not the Israel that the Bible is talking about, right? So I think there is this that more of a spiritual or religious belief system that is attaching it there, rather than what, like, if we're gonna if we're gonna look the other way when there's, you know, obvious, you know, war crimes being committed. If we're turning a blind eye to that, then that means there's something deeper than just, you know, we're friends with them.
I think that I think, and this is just me, guys. I don't have the degree. I didn't study this officially. It's just me doing my little thing running through my mind. I think that America was shocked and horrified by what it found, what Germany was doing.
Yeah.
And the camps and all
Yeah.
that. And at the end of the war, there was no place for those people to go. Like, you want to talk about real persecution, like where else were the Jews going to go?
Yeah.
And
No,
I
get
think
that.
I think that America was like, we're just going to put them there. And they just put them there, and the conflict began, and they're like, oh, we just can't leave them there. Like, you know, we let them here. We can't let them get slaughtered again. So they gave them weapons, let them fight. And then I think we've just been backing them. And then now you got the Mossad, you know, you got a place where you can send your guys to train, right? If Jimmy Carter had allowed the Israelis to plan his operation to invade Iran and get our embassy back, get our hostages out, that raid would have went off. It would have worked. We didn't listen to the Israelis.
Yeah.
And I think that over time, America has depended on the government of Israel more, to the point their military apparatus. And
Yeah, I mean, we have
you know
like
what I mean?
we have a lot of like assets out there. I'm not gonna lie, like we don't have many friendlies. You know, we don't have many allies in that region. And they have been an ally, but at the same time, if your ally is doing something wrong, and you're supposed to be the leader of the world, right? You know, you gotta hold them to a standard.
Well, I mean, it's just, you got to, again, look at the totality of all of it, right? So Israel becomes this power. They organize themselves. No one can fight like the Israelis. You know, you just look at, you know, how you got that whole region at one point coming against them. They beat everybody at the same time. It's like, damn. You know what I mean?
Like, you know, my
Conventional
next ex-wife is gonna be an Israeli. Like,
They
she'll be. I know, bad as hell.
warfare.
You know, I talked to James Sexton. I told James Sexton, I said, bro, I need you to make me an ironclad prenup. He goes, I got you.
Boy, you better wear that thing on your chest, because she's gonna take that AR and put something on you. But I
But no, I hear
think
what
that
you're saying. Like, they've been persecuted, they've been hit by left and right. But here's the thing, though. My question: in war, prior to modern warfare, if one tribe takes over the other tribe, you take over it. You own it. You take the land. You enslave the people, or they become citizens.
you delete all the
modern-
men of fighting age, you delete all the boys of fighting
Exactly,
age, and then you
exactly.
breed, and then you make babies with the women, and then
Exactly. You repopulate. You take over, right? Like, so.
but here's
This
the
is
other
the
point
problem.
too. But
That's
here's
the
the other
problem.
point with
Like,
this.
we're not doing that. We're not
Well,
doing that. Like,
you're not allowed to do that. I mean, that's, you know. But here's another problem too. America relies on Israel to keep, up until recently, they were keeping the oil stable. It was the Israelis who was the threat, getting us all the intel we need, making sure the oil stay right. That too. I wanted to make this point, because you're saying when they do something wrong, they should be disciplined. Bro, they attacked the Liberty. And we didn't do anything about that. Now,
they got a nuke. They got a nuke. How did they get a nuke? They're not even in the treaty.
Hey, bro, because America's like, hey,
So
that's Israel.
this is why people have a problem. Like, when if America is turning a blind eye numerous times with what Israel does, right? And then let's go back to the Charlie Kirk thing. You hear Charlie Kirk actually rescinds his pledge to supporting Israel, right? now it seems like that they would be, if you're number one supporter and the potential like leader of the free world, the one that made the election happen for Donald Trump is now saying like, yo, I don't support this anymore. That's a problem for you.
Not as much. I don't really see that part being a problem because the Israelis really don't care that much about a Charlie Kirk. Even the Republicans care, MAGA care.
Talk about
Trump care.
you know Netanyahu like a couple months before that or 2 weeks before that, like invited Charlie Kirk to go out there, and Charlie Kirk declined the invitation.
I mean, Netanyahu wanted to holler at the Nelk boys. Like, I don't think that the Israeli government really cared that much. Maybe he would have got to a point where he would have been powerful enough to where he's really on their radar, but I don't think
You don't think he was powerful enough then? He pulled. I mean, if you could pull a whole election, pretty much, he
was able to bring the young people. But again, the Democrats were on the other side messing up wet dreams. They should have got rid of Biden. Biden was supposed to be a one-term president. That was the deal.
Biden shouldn't have been the president, period. Like he was, you don't think his mind was gone then?
Biden was the old white dude who can beat the other old white dude. Biden was the guy back then. His mind wasn't as scrambled, right? He was on his way, but he wasn't quite there yet. He was kind of like Reagan, right there, that last term of Reagan.
Oh,
like,
come on, man. What? Don't. Okay. Reagan wasn't that bad his last term.
Go back and watch the film.
I mean, sure, he got shot. Reagan actually got shot. Okay, Biden didn't get shot. The shot could have done something to Reagan. You don't know. Trauma. He got PTSD little bit with the old Alzheimer's.
Old school, bro. He wanted that smoke, bro. He was trying to get in the World War II. He was mad they wouldn't let him. He kept trying to get in there. He wanted to be a fighter pilot or something. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that Biden messed up by strong-arming the Democrats. The Democrats should have said, no, sit down. They should have made him pick who they wanted as vice president, who would have rolled into the office. That would have been like the next president.
Do you think they did? Do you think they did Kamala dirty?
Kamala did herself dirty. Kamala was a great California politician, and I think the Senate is where she should be. I think she should have stayed.
Kamala was a horrible California politician.
The Democrats loved her. I'm talking about from the Democratic point of view. The Democrats
hated her. The potheads hated her.
The potheads might have hated her, you know, but the Democrats in California, I was active. The Democrats loved her. She was.
Oh, I know they loved her, but like,
and she should have. I think that her peak and her destiny was to be the senator of the great state of California until she was like 90 years old, like Barbara Boxer. I think that's what
I think. I think she should have gone governor. I think she probably would have done better governor.
That's a terrible job because I mean, look at it. Like, who wants that job? I remember when Gray Davis got booted out of office. Boy, I was out there, and that was crazy. So I wouldn't want to be. California is so screwed up. I wouldn't want to be that governor unless I were Republican. If I were Republican or center left, I would want that job because you can go in there and make some cuts and try to. You can
make a whole lot of changes if you're like at least middle. If you're just moderate, if you're just a moderate, right? Or moderate. I would just be like a libertarian. Like if you were just a libertarian in California, you probably make a lot of moves, you know.
Jesse Ventura in his prime would have been like a great governor for California if he lived there. Schwarzenegger did. Schwarzenegger
was great. Yeah, Schwarzenegger was great when we were like our governor. We had the governor.
The governor. You know what I mean? Just banging the midwife, just banging the, you know what I mean, the maid, just doing his thing, slanging.
Hey, why is the maid's son yoked? And his other son, like, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, man.
Hey, maybe she was doing something too, you know what I mean? But I think that I think Kamala Harris should have just stayed as senator. This is why the Democrats should have placed.
This is what I think. I think she did a horrible job even as senator, right? I think what people need to start doing is we need to start going back to reading the Constitution the way that the founders wrote it. All right.
Drunk? You mean drunk?
No, not drunk, but at least understanding the way
they were drunk when they wrote that, bro. They
were drunk, but like, okay, like for example, like I'm gonna what's called a smishmortion. You know, when women get a smishmortion. All right,
I just say deletion or the option. They exercise the option.
They exercise the option. Okay, the idea of the option, just from the argument that it is against the Declaration of Independence. The very founding document that preludes the
You gotta send
Constitution.
that to me. Look, where?
Okay,
The
I'll read it.
right
To,
to
I'll
life,
just, I'll
liberty,
just
and
read
pursuit
it.
of happiness. You talking
Yes.
about that?
Everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that was granted to you, unalienable rights that were granted to you by what? Your creator. So if you're able to have a option, you are infringing upon the right of life in the womb. That right there that should be right out the gate. It's the very founding document that preludes the Declaration or the Constitution says that this they have a right to life. If you are infringing upon that right, you don't have that right because God gave it to you or the Creator gave it to you. So that's an unalienable right that cannot be infringed upon. That right there should be considered unconstitutional.
Yeah, and that's
By
where the
principle.
problem comes in because the option wasn't a thing back then. So we really don't know where the founding fathers would have landed on this. I'm with you because they were so religious that they would be on the pro-life side. I'm with you 100% on that. But just kind of reading what they wrote, it wasn't a thing. So to say that they wrote it this way because they knew that this was going to be a thing down
I'm
the road.
talking about no, I'm not saying that they knew that we were going to have this technology. I'm saying the principle of it, though. The principle that everyone has the right to life. That's granted by your creator, right? If you are choosing to option this life out because you feel a certain way, you are now infringing upon that right of that individual's life. And by principle, that should be unconstitutional.
Yeah, and that's why, you know what, you're onto something here, and this is why they fought for so many decades over when
is life
Like,
begin? At
when does it
conception,
begin?
right?
And that's why that's probably why they did it, because they're like, oh well, it's not life yet. It's not life until it gets here. You see what I'm saying? Now it goes back and forth. You know what I mean?
But was it 98% of doctors worldwide have confirmed that life begins at conception? So now you even have almost a unanimous,
And my thing is this, bro, because people are like, I'm not pro one way or the other. I'm
pro accountability.
Have you ever seen that Bill Burr?
I'm pro accountability.
You're pro life. Come on, because it's the religious
component.
component.
I actually have caveats to it. I do have caveats to it. I think if the mother's life is at risk, in okay, there's one. I have a real hard time forcing a woman to carry a child of a crime. If she was,
we know.
Yeah. I have I give mercy, or I have caveats for that. I could live with that. But when you're exercising it as a means of birth control, just because you don't want to have this guy's baby no more, or whatever the case is, you're not financially prepared for it. Well, then you shouldn't have been having sex, because sex is the
Here's
birth
my
is the consequence of sex.
I feel and this is so. I'm with you 100% on everything you said right there with the caveats, but I like Bill Burr's bit. Did you ever hear Bill Burr bit on this? It was when he did the live at Red Rocks, when he was like, "Hey,
I think so."
It was he compared it to a cake. Like if I mix a cake
up,
just
get it in the oven long enough.
You know what I mean? That's not a cake. Well, it would have been if you left it sitting there for the next 9 months.
Exactly.
I'm with him on that, and I think for the legal aspect of this, I would say this: if the women have the right to exercise that option, the man should have a right to option out the financial side of this. Because I look at it this way: it's well, we can't force a woman in America to be financially responsible. You know what I mean?
But there's other means to it, though, right? You can have adoption. You can put it up for adoption. You can have a kid and put it up for adoption.
But now my thing is
obligated.
But even as okay, here's a scenario for you. You have a child, I can't handle this, I want to put it up for adoption, right? Or I just take it to the hospital, leave it there, take it to the fire.
Just drop it off at the front door, All
right, cool. Here's the deal. If that happens, she should have to pay child support. That's what I'm talking about. Because the guy pays child support.
Here's the thing. If just because, and this is a problem, I get the argument, and part of me wants to agree with you, but then I go back to principle, right? If we're gonna let one person get away with a bad thing, does it mean that we should let the other party get away with a bad thing? Somebody still has to be accountable at the end of the day. Somebody still has to be the adult in the room. So what we should do is be like, no, we're not going to let anybody get away with the bad thing, and we're going to hold each one of you accountable to the responsibility you're supposed to have.
I'm
Okay?
cool with that. I'm cool with
Like-
that.
like- like
I'm
just
okay
get
with
rid of-
removing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I'm just saying, I would say get rid of unless it's a medical issue, or unless there's a crime that was committed that happened from, that's it. That's it. You should not be able to do this just because you feel a certain way or because you're not financially where you want to be. That's consequence to your actions. Your actions was to have unprotected sex. Now you did this. Oh, I'm not ready for it. Well, then you weren't ready to have sex to begin with then.
I would sign off on that. But as the law is currently applied, I would say that the guy should have an option. Now, of course, you can't have.
Well,
and
yeah,
not
currently
have.
the way that's currently enforced now, sure, I would say that would be the case. But then now what? Now let's say the mother ends up keeping the kid, right? And the dad's like, I'm optioning out, right?
This is how I would do it.
Because now
So
you're gonna be forcing them to be on more of a welfare state. You're only gonna
maybe.
expand it.
Well, maybe you have to qualify to have a child. Ooh, what about that?
I think that should be the case. I think, you know what, like, because I drafted a bill for marriage, right? Well, it's called the Marriage Integrity Act, right? And I had James Sexton, the divorce lawyer, like go through it with me on my podcast. He only had one issue with my whole bill. He didn't like the fact that I I removed no fault and made if you try to get a no fault, it will be considered a breach of contract.
I would take it a step further. Next time you talk to Brother James Sexton, ask him why we don't have marital contracts. Like, hey, we want to get married. Okay, you can get a 6 month, a 2 year, right?
So,
You can get
okay,
a
so
4
we
year.
kind of
And then
talked about that.
you renew, get 2 years done. Okay, you want to renew this? Because I think he brought this up on one of his interviews.
He did. So, and we talked about it. Like, he's like, the best way to do it. He goes, why don't we have a higher standard of entry? And I agreed with him on that. Like, there should be a 2-year marriage pre-course. Just like you got to take a driver's license. You got to go show that you can pass the practical. Any type of license that you get, you have to show that you are competent to operate this in this license, right? So a marriage license, they should be a 2-year course. Okay, here it goes. 1 year for the groom, 1 year for the bride. The first year, they're both going like the husband school and then the wife school. All right. And then the second year, they have to go through couple school. And this is where we throw all kinds of crazy shit at this couple, like all the craziest scenarios, and see how they navigate it. And then you have a board judge whether they are competent enough to operate as a married couple. When you make the standard of entry harder, you're not going to have many people getting a divorce because they're going to be like, damn, there's a higher barrier of entry. Like, not a lot of people are going to do it. Cool. And then now you're going to have a lot of divorces.
I think if you just take the money out of it, what you're suggesting is a lot. What you're suggesting is a lot.
No, actually, it's just taking the government out of it.
Well, 100% take the government out of it. Take the government out. First, you know what? I don't care who has it. Just take the government out of it. I think that if you get married, fine. If you get divorced, okay, it's over. Well, I get half of this stuff, and she get nope.
You see what they did in China? The China law that they passed last year in February?
What did they do?
If you try to leave, you leave your man, you leave with what you came with.
That's cool. What's wrong with that?
You don't take half of nothing. You don't get nope. It's not this like I'm gonna use it to grab the bag. Mm-mm. And I believe the children. I think the children are automatically wards to the father. Yeah, like how it used to be here in America.
Ooh.
Prior to 1964 or 1864.
Wow, that's
because you got to remember before women and children were considered the man's property.
And my people.
Well,
Still
look,
mad
look,
about
look,
that. She's
look,
still
look.
mad about that
I
shit.
had
Hey,
nothing to do with it.
you
I
sure?
had
I
nothing.
was about to ask. You sure? You sure?
I was Italian. Okay, my people came over, indentured servants. All right, we were different.
You got to show me the DNA thing. I want to see. I want to see the tree. I want to see the tree.
I am 5% North African. I could. That's why I'm late sometimes.
Oh, see, there you go. The Armenians are always late. Shout out to my Armenian people out there. It ain't just us. But I think if you just take the state out, I think that's enough.
You
Yeah,
can't take
I
the
really
shit out of
I
it,
think
though. Like not the way that it is now. So like you got to remember what was the institution or what was the institution that marriage was operated out of before. It was
the
never the
church.
state.
No, it's the church.
Exactly. So that's why I think where it should go back to. It should go back to the church. And the only way that the state should be involved is to make sure that both parties are of legal age and that aspect.
I mean,
But when it comes,
yeah.
that's it. That's the only reason why I want the state involved, to make sure that no minors are getting, sold or wiped
Situations
up.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
know,
Like that's the
I
only reason
think-
why the state should be involved. Because in California, your 3-year-old or your 4-year-old can get married. You can marry off your 4-year-old.
As the back man, I don't even want to have this conversation.
That law is still on the books. That's still on the book law.
Yeah, we ain't gonna because it's a
wild.
lot of that in the South too. It's a lot of that in the South.
Yeah.
They're going through like cleaning up some of that stuff, but it's a lot. They'll discover these laws when they're trying to prosecute somebody for doing, the PDF file stuff, and
Yep.
the guy be like, "Nope, here's the law," and it's like, "Oh, we taking that off the books." So, but no, man, I think that. Well, first of all, in America, we know something is wrong. And a lot of people like, well, just bring the church back into it. I don't necessarily think that's the answer,
No, I
but
think the church is wrong too. So I mean,
I'm
like-
okay with removing the government. I don't get if I just limit I don't want the government involved at all. But like what China's doing, okay, you get married, you leave it what you came with. I say you leave it you keep what you have prior to the marriage, and you split what you guys made together while married 50-50. And I think that works.
well, what if she cheated on you? Does she does she have the right to get half? Did she take what you guys acquired during the marriage?
I mean, because you could argue that into infinity. Okay, she cheated on you, but she was the driving force behind your success, or she invested in you.
How is
in
she the
beginning.
driving force behind your success?
She gave you $100,000 loan to get your company off the floor.
Wait a minute, she gave you $100,000 loan before you got married or after you got married? Because if it's during your marriage, she can't give you a loan. She can't give you a loan. That's your wife.
But
those are your assets are together.
But remember, you keep what you had going in. Let's say she had $200,000. Y'all got married. She invested. She invests $100,000 of her money into you, and then boom, you become wealthy. Okay, you made $50 million.
All right,
and
so I'm
then
gonna
she cheats on you.
I'm gonna read you the China new law right here, okay? Because I pulled it up here because I wanted to be accurate. I don't like to misquote anything. So, a mandatory 30-day cooling off period is enforced. So, okay, I want to get divorced. All right, you guys got 30 days to chill the fuck out. All right. Then you come back, you still want divorce. Under China's new civil code related to marriage and family law revisions that came in effect, any couple seeking a consensual divorce must wait 30 days before the divorce can be finalized. During this period, either spouse can cancel the divorce application simply by withdrawing consent, and the process must be started over if they do. This position, the Chinese reduce the impulse of divorce. Property divisions ruled have shifted significantly. Traditionally in China, the property acquired during the marriage was typically treated as joint marital property, subject to a roughly equal division in a divorce, even if titled in one spouse's name. So under the new reform, property is increasingly tied to the actual contribution, title ownership, and parental payment, not an automatic 50-50 split, meaning a spouse can only claim an interest in the property if they or their family can prove they helped finance or contributed to its acquisition. Meaning, if you're the man, the sole provider, you work and you bought a house, and your wife and your kids moved in there, and her family did not help in the acquisition of that property, she can't take it.
But there's always going to be give and take. That makes sense. That makes 100%.
Yeah. But here in America, you risk losing all that, even if it was your property before you got married.
Well, I mean, again, if you don't have the proper paperwork up front, the prenup, the post, you know what I
But
mean?
this is built into the marriage laws now. So this is where I'm saying like they're kind of ahead of the curve in America. Like they're saying like, hey, this is built into the laws now that you don't automatically get to take over half of his total assets. You don't even get to take any assets unless you can say that you or your family helped acquire the purchase of these assets.
How about this for the American version? There's no alimony. You get married, there's no alimony. And then there's
Well, I have a problem with that. There should be alimony to do it. I think under certain circumstances, okay. Today, no, I agree, no alimony. But why it was implemented, I agree with why it was implemented back then.
I'm with you, but we're talking about today.
Yeah,
right?
today, no alimony.
Because DeSantis, not a big fan of DeSantis, but one of the things he did that I like, I'm all in on.
Yeah, he stopped that
got rid of forever
lifetime.
yet. No more forever alimony.
California out here, you're still here. Like,
What's the
10
cutoff?
years
Is it
or
10
more.
years?
10
Yeah,
years.
10 years.
You meet 10 years, you can get alimony for life. I know a bunch of ex-wives that are, divorcing their husbands at 10 years, collecting alimony, not remarrying, but moving in the boyfriend.
Exactly. And that's what they do. So I would say this in America. I would say keep the 10-year rule on a book. If you're married for 10 years or more, you're entitled to 50% of the marital.
I would think there had to be stipulations. Like you had to be married for 10 years and you would have to be a stay-at-home spouse. Because if they're working, then they have means to get an income. They have means to make a wage and survive.
Because I'm saying no alimony whatsoever under any circumstances, no alimony. That's what I'm saying today. But
I agree with you. Get rid of it.
Splitting the house, the 10-year thing. You know what though? Nah, you know what? I'm back to my original premise. Here's the deal. Is this how it works? You get married. What you had before the marriage is yours. You ain't splitting that. And then it's 50-50 of what you guys earned while you were married. So if you were married for 5 years and you guys earned $1 million, you both walk away with $500,000. That's including property and everything y'all bought. It's all split. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have trust set up and all that kind of stuff, that means that those trusts
this is what I tell guys to do all the time, though. This is like I tell guys to do, like, before you even get married, whatever assets you do have, put them in a trust.
Put them in a trust. Put them in multiple trusts.
Yeah. And then create an LLC to oversee your trust. All right. Take your wages that you earn from your job, put them into your LLC, pay yourself from your LLC a percentage, just what you need, so that just in case you get a divorce, they can only go off of what your W-2 says, and you're getting paid from your LLC. So
I take it a step further. I tell dudes today, I'm like, look, man, just learn the rules. Holler at Sexton or someone like Sexton, get you a really good prenup, learn the rules, do your vetting, and you got to take that leap of faith. Hopefully you chose wisely. Hopefully.
That conversation, I had a almost 2.5 hour conversation with Sexton, and it was really, really good. Like, it was probably better than any of the other shows that I've seen them do, because we actually had something to look at and for him to criticize, like with the bill that I drafted. And he went through it and he's like, yeah, like mandatory paternity. He's like, absolutely. I'm like, yes. Like certain things, like as soon as the baby's born and the father's like deemed like the paternal, father, then he gets the same amount of rights as the mother does over that child.
Well, these laws are already started seeping through, man. Like Florida has that. It's default 50-50 custody. If you go in, you guys never married.
It should be federalized, is what we're saying. Is like these laws should be unanimous across all the states.
It should be. It should be. I think there should be child support caps. I think child support, when you look at child support, I think child support should be based on where the child lives. How much does it cost to raise a child from age 0 to 18 there?
It should not be based on like
it should be based on how much.
It shouldn't be. They're doing it like they are making it complimentary. Like the child should not have to suffer if you lived in a mansion and now they're divorced and mom's living in an apartment. no, that's not right. That's not complimentary. The child's like, it should be equitable, living conditions. Where they're no. If the kid wants to live in the mansion, then you better stay with dad.
Well, yes. And here's the thing. Child support is supposed to guarantee the child the basics for life. You know what I mean? Medical, education, shelter, clothing, that sort
I
of
think
thing.
both
Right?
parents
Food.
should pay for child support.
What, until like an account that's run by
Yes.
a third party?
The same third party that's already currently taking it out of the dad's paychecks.
Yeah, U.S. government or state of.
So I had this guy named This Is Shaw. He has a YouTube channel called
That's
This
my
Is Shaw.
man. That's my man.
Yeah.
I
So I
was
had
one of the first people to ever interview him. I saw him
Yeah.
when he first started. I'm like, this guy's sharp.
Yeah, I interviewed him like 2 weeks ago. I'm actually airing his episode tomorrow. And we went through the whole history of. I agree with him. We should go back to dowries. The dowry system.
Before we get to that, though, I really think that it should just be, look, the government knows how much it costs to raise a child in any zip code in America. You type that into the computer to tell you how much you raise a child from age 0 to 18.
Mhm.
50% of that is what both parents are responsible for, irregardless of how much money they make or whatever they got. So the child support cap would be somewhere around $1,000, $1,100, depending on
Yeah.
I think Maine is the most expensive place to raise someone. I think
Mhm.
Hawaii is up there, but it should, $1,000 a month would be the most anyone would pay.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we should have that. I think the average child support should be around $500-$600 a month. And that's
Yeah.
a lot for some people.
I would
But
agree with you, but I think that both parents should have to pay for that.
how would that
Go-
work? How would that
So
work?
think about that. So they take it out, instead of taking out a dad's check, all 500. You take 250 out of dad, take 250 out of mom, right? Both parents have access to this account, but the purchases for anything from that account goes to the child. Kid needs new school shoes, get it from that account. Kid needs to want to do football, get it from that account. Like, and then if you don't use it all, right? When the kid turns 18, whatever balance is in there automatically goes to the child. Now you have an accountability force overseeing. That means that debit card cannot be used to buy nails. That debit card cannot be used to buy some Louis Vuitton and some Coach purses and some Prada for mom. Like that account cannot be used to make a car payment for a vehicle that the kid's not registered owner to or the driver of, right? It forces accountability on how the money that's supposed to go into child support is actually being spent. Because just like Kanye West said, what he say in that song, like Gold Diggers.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
Yeah, and then he's like, child support.
18 years paid, 18 years, and
18
found
years.
out the kid is.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what Neo had to deal with. But there's like, I think Exhibit says it. The woman seeing more support than I'm seeing my child, right? Like,
well, that's how
and
the
then
game is played.
well, why does the kid look like, he's wearing hand-me-down clothes and mom is looking like, she's all done up? Where's that child support money going to? There's no accountability there. So there needs to be accountability on how the child support funds are being distributed and how they're being utilized. You should not be able to live off of child support and keep on wanting increase the rate of child support if we can't be accountable. Like the funds can't be accounted for. Like, child support should not cover your rent. You are going to need to find a place and live, to put a roof over your head anyways. A second bedroom is not, the rent is not that increased. All right. It's a couple $100, max. You get a place, a one bedroom
Max,
for
though.
like you get a one bedroom. Well, out here it's expensive as hell. Let's say you get a one bedroom for like $2,500. A two bedroom is going to be no more than $28. That $300, if you don't,
out here, bro,
oh, I know. I saw some of the prices out there. I was like, man,
for what you
I can live
get,
with
I
that.
mean, and the prices are
Space-wise,
going down
too.
because the prices are going down because the economy is shifting. There's a problem with housing. Don't buy right away when you get here, man. Prices are coming
Nah,
down,
nah.
but just don't buy and stay away from condos. But my bad, I didn't mean to ruin your train of thought. But I remember those LA prices, man. I'm thinking like 28. Where you at, man? LA is like they should be up to 3,500.
No, I'm
Right?
just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. Like, no, so their studio apartments going for 25 right now. Studios,
Studio,
like
what 600 square feet?
like
Not even.
600 square feet, barely 600 square feet studios. Like ridiculous. And that's why you got all these people living in tents. I mean, I think the cost of living needs to go down, you know, personally. I think, you know, the government has a control over that, but they keep on increasing the cost of living. I think we need to get rid of central bank. Fuck the feds, you know, get rid of that.
The
Stop
central
printing
bank
money.
ain't going nowhere. The central
I know.
bank ain't going nowhere, bro. I'm with you on that. They should get rid of the central bank.
I think we
probably
need to have
try-
an accountant to really like account for how much gold we have in Fort Knox, if we have any gold in Fort Knox.
Ain't no gold in there, bro. In the back chat, in our
Yeah, I'm pulling it
private
up right
chat,
now.
I started a channel. It's a faceless channel, and I drop a video every Monday. I just wanted to see.
This is yours? Your faceless channel?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's mine, and I'm about to start another channel for just like history. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it our history or something to do with military warrior
No,
history. but
when
it's
you
gonna be
say
from a
our history, is it our history or
See, that's the thing. I wanted to be 'cause my thing is this: Black history is American history, and I'm talking about military
Absolutely.
stuff. I did this thing on the triple nickel. You know who the triple nickel are? The 555th Parachute
Yeah.
Infantry Regiment, first Black parachute
Yeah.
regiment.
Yeah.
I did a thing on them, and I'm gonna start a.
Weren't they
Channel
out of
Woman.
Tuskegee? Weren't they part out of Tuskegee?
That's the Tuskegee Airmen. These guys went through.
Well, I
Benny,
know
like
that
everybody-
the Tuskegee Airmen,
yeah,
but
they
like
went
weren't
to
they-
Benny. These guys weren't allowed to go fight. They weren't allowed to go fight in
Oh.
Europe.
I remember you telling me about this before.
I did a video
Yeah.
on them. I'm gonna send that to you as well. So I'm starting to do stuff. And like you, bro, you got me right. I know you haven't seen anything on Substack. I stopped, but I wrote 16 ebooks,
Nice.
all red pill stuff. I did just real condensed, planting the seed type stuff. But the reason I did 16 is because I'm working on a traditional hardcover, and each ebook was just like a segment from the chapters I'm writing for this hardcover thing that I'm doing. You got me
Yeah.
motivated, bro. I want to thank you, man. Like you got me motivated talking to you. I'm like, all right, 2026, I'm going crazy with it. So,
Man, hey, you
yeah,
did
bro.
it yourself. I just was like,
you led the way, bro. That's what y'all do, ain't it? That's what you PJs are doing out there, leading the way.
man, I just inspiring. I'm just trying to inspire. Oh, okay. I want to show you this this clip from James Sexton that we did. It was a good one. Hold on, I'm gonna play the back chat.
Or you want me to just put it up and I'll share it?
Yeah. I'm gonna put it in back chat. You share it. It was just a short. Like,
All right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I geared up for this show. I came out with a judge costume on. All right, I'm like ordering the court. Like, you know, James Sexton was dying. He goes, "Oh my
Wildin',
god!"
boy.
Like, it was, but this is not the
Yeah.
clip for that. But this was a good question that we ended up asking him.
Let me pull this up. Well, you be wilding. You do like to get all theatrical with it.
Hey, I've been in films for a long time. You know, like it's right up my alley.
Same here. So I'm gonna play this. We'll probably let it play. Let me turn.
Yeah, it's not
volume
that
up.
long. It's not that
Yeah,
long.
way
It's
to
like
go.
a minute. It's almost like just 2 minutes.
Expectations that detonates marriages today.
So I think the problem in marriage today is the problem that we're having societally, and that is that nobody knows what's expected of them anymore. So I think growing up as a man who's now 53, growing up in the 80s, a man could either be Richard Simmons or Clint Eastwood. Those were like your two choices.
Fact.
You didn't, there was nothing in between. You were either
Yeah.
Fact.
gay or felt nothing
Yes.
and were like a ninja. And the truth is, like, I don't think either one of those fits the majority of men. Like the majority of men, we have stoicism in us, we have all those other things in us, but we also have sensitivity in us and compassion in our hearts and love in our hearts. So I think that rightfully society said, okay, we got to figure out, like, women can be strong and domineering and take charge and can handle all the amazing things. Women can be doctors and surgeons and lawyers. Like women can be anything, and men can be anything. I think
And we're
women,
going like from one extreme to the next.
when women are a good spouse, they're being told, right, but are you a girl boss? Are you like out there crushing it in the world? Are you running the show? Are you?
Yeah.
Or if you're running the show and you're a CEO and you're okay, but are you a good mom, a good wife? Are you good at home? And if you're a good wife, are you being submissive to your husband? Because that's terrible. You should never be that. And, but also don't be too domineering of your husband. So it's like everyone's just going, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it wrong. And there's a chorus of people on the internet telling me I'm doing it wrong. And men, it's the same thing. Be tough, but don't be so tough, and be compassionate, but don't be such a pussy. There's so many people telling us we're doing it wrong. And now we're looking at our spouse and it's like, oh, they're doing it wrong too. They're doing it wrong. And if they were really my soulmate, if they were really my other half, my seashell, whatever you want to, then they wouldn't be doing it wrong. They'd never fail me. They'd be perfect, just like in every movie I've ever seen, a person's other half is. And that's what's happening.
What would you say is like the most?
Hey, bro. Hey. John DeMarco, that was fire.
Yeah, I mean, James came clean with that one. He came correct. And so this was like right after, like Rollo did a show, dropped James's name. James didn't like it too much. There was some issues there. And then so he did our show. And because I asked him, I was like, what is the problem with the red pill? Like what do you see the red pill get wrong and right? And he was honest about it. He's like, yeah, like they need to get credit where credit's due. He's like, but this way of operating out of fear, not educating them what they're getting into, that's the problem. Like men are not being prepared for what marriage really is and not reading the fine print and not discussing how to navigate that or how to navigate it before you even get there. And that's what we were talking about, like the trust and the loan, or the irrevocable trust and stuff like that. And we went through my bill that I drafted, and he's like, everything looks good except his issue was the no fault divorce. He's like, you should not do it that way. No fault should still be on the books because it only expedites what was already going to happen. When you make it a fault divorce, now you're going to have an increase of false allegations being made just to get out of the divorce. And now you got criminal charges being pending
and to get the money to maximize the money, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's better to have it no fault. But he's like, I agree with you. No fault should be able to mean no money. If there's no fault, then you shouldn't be able to get alimony. If there's no reason to, you're saying there's no reason to end the marriage. So if there's no reason to end the marriage, why are you ending the marriage? Oh, you need to go find yourself. Okay, so why should he have to pay for? Yeah.
I got to pay for the travels. You got to find yourself, and I got to pay for the travels. No,
exactly.
This is so bad for you. You can't stand this. You want out so bad. We're gonna let you out. You get nothing though. And you know what? For me, that'd be a good deal. I want to get away from this crazy woman so bad, bro. I'll pay for the legal fees, and I'm out. I don't want anything from her. I know that's Oprah. I know that's Oprah. I know she got it out. I don't want none of it. I just get me out. Right?
Like I'm afraid that she might turn into Lisa Left Eye Lopez and burn my shit down to the ground. So let me just,
bro, like that. Real quick, I'm gonna show you this. And before, because dude, I gotta be up to take my daughter.
I was gonna say we should probably wrap it up because I want to talk to you afterwards, anyways, like behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, let me show you this real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. What am I doing here? You can tell I'm tired. I'm sitting here like, okay, what am I doing? Where's my producer? I need. Where's you know what? Where's my trailer? Where's my producer?
Man, I've been doing a lot of virtual producing for people now. It's easy now, so easy.
It's too easy, bro. I'm really focused on me, but I've had offers. I had people ask me to do some stuff, and I'm like, no. So this is the video I did about the triple nickel, the first black parachute regiment. It just real quick. It's like a 7-minute. Well, we ain't gonna watch the whole thing. It's just a quick clip.
Oh, yeah, let's just watch it.
I just want you to check it out. This is the first time I ever tried something like this, bro. So just so you know, like I'm learning as I go. But check this out. In the Army, physically demanding, mentally unforgiving, strategically vital. Many senior officers believed Black soldiers were unfit for such roles. That belief would soon be tested. In December 1943, the Army activated the 555th Parachute Infantry Regiment at Fort Benning, Georgia. The men were volunteers, selected from experienced Black units, including the 92nd and 93rd Infantry Divisions. Training was intense. Marches were longer. Evaluations were stricter. Mistakes were less tolerated. Attrition rates were high, but those who endured earned their parachutist wings. The triple nickel had proven they met the airborne standard without compromise. By 1944. So that's it, man. I was just trying to do
That's
a
pretty
little
dope.
something there, bro.
That's pretty dope. You should look into 11 Labs. I'll tell you a little bit about it afterwards, but that was good.
All right.
I like the idea of it.
And then one of the things I learned is it's really hard to find music, even when you pay for it. I'm paying for it now. I'm on
Why pay for it? Why don't you just make it?
Epidemics.
I make it.
Well,
I'll show
people
you
are
that.
doing
I'll
it
tell
now
you.
with AI.
That's what I'm saying. I'll tell you how to do it really well. Like, dude, I have an album out, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. We definitely gonna talk.
We
So
gonna-
let's wrap this up, man. What are your final thoughts, bro? Final thoughts, everything you talking about. We talked about. So let's go back to what we originally wanted to talk about,
All right.
which is old girl.
Oh, girl. Okay, listen. I hate to see a mother lose her life, but at the same time, when you force the hand of the law enforcement officers, when you choose, they put me on the spot. Okay,
Yeah, bro.
when you choose to not obey the commands that from the law enforcement officers, and they are in a threat zone. Okay, that's a threatening zone for them. They have protesters. They do not know what they have. And you got them not obeying commands, and then now you are in this vehicle and you're not obeying commands, you are a threat. You have made yourself a threat. And by you choosing not to obey commands, and they pull a gun out on you and they take you out, they're doing their damn job. Now, we could argue procedure. They should have done things afterwards, secure the vehicle, make sure that she's no longer a threat? Absolutely. But the shooting is clean, if you ask me. And you know what? I'm sorry for those children that they lost their mother. I'm sorry that their mother chose not to be rational and reasonable and chose not to obey the commands. They deserve a mother. And I'm sorry that their mother did not want to, be a good mother.
All right. I mean, and I'm on the other side of that. So, and if you guys want to know how I feel about it, go back to the very beginning and watch this video. We got into
We
it.
should do an Ebony and Ivory show. An Ebony and Ivory show.
So, and now, man, I'm on Epidemic Sound. I appreciate that,
So
bro.
like, don't worry, Frank. I'm gonna put him up on game. Like I'm gonna let him listen to a couple things. But I actually I don't just use Suno. I actually play my bass. So all the songs that I have, I'm playing my bass in them.
I mean, I do a little bit, Glenn. I mean, dude, I do a little bit.
See, look what you got. You got a keyboard over there. What are you talking about? You can play some chords.
I do a little bit, bro. I do a little bit, but
I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna show you some. And there is a way that you actually can own them, and I'll explain all that to you too. There's a way to do it. Like I said, like my music's already out. It's on Spotify. I get paid for it, so.
And I'm an alto sax guy. That's where I started. But
That's where I started too.
There. I play the drums a little bit. I can't get the set. I'm gonna get one of those electronic sets. They didn't got so good. I'm gonna put it over here. So brother, I really appreciate you jumping on this. Man, thank you for blessing me with a show. I just was gonna come on for like 40 minutes. That's all I was gonna do.
I saw you were tired. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep them up.
He's like, yeah, he don't need no sleep. Come on, Airborne. We're gonna.
I was
show
like,
you
I
how to do this.
haven't like linked up with you. I haven't told you what's up. We have to catch up. I was like, I'm gonna hit him up, get on there. I see him live. I'm gonna come fuck with him.
I really appreciate it. I'm glad you did, bro. Because I mean, I'm cool tomorrow. Friday is always my off day. I shoot a podcast with my buddy Will Ghostin. He's recently retired NFL. This is the first year he didn't play. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion, all that. He's the man.
Yeah.
We normally shoot, we do an in-studio podcast. We normally shoot on Fridays, but we haven't geared up for 2026 yet. So I'm going to be able to sleep in. Normally, otherwise, I would be screwed. Otherwise, I would be absolutely screwed because I'm like, oh, I got to go shoot. I'm like, I haven't slept, but I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, bro.
For sure.
You have no idea, man. Like, I mean, we know each other from these YouTube trenches, bro. And it's always good to have solid people that don't think like you. I think so many guys need to get out of these bubbles, man. Go into other people's bubbles and earn their respect, and they can earn your respect. And you guys have that. You can have that brotherhood and still not agree with everything, bro. Because you
that's
and I,
why
we don't agree.
That's why I like it. The only way you could test your argument or test your position is to challenge it by someone that's also going to meet you on good faith, right? And that's the biggest problem is like there's not a lot of good faith, conversations being had. Either you're in an echo chamber or you're in like you're having a bad faith conversation with somebody that opposes you. At least the way when we dialogue, we could both see each other's point of view. I get it, we may still be disagree on at the end of it, but at least we understand where each other see it, their point of view, and we could actually process it easier rather than just like, oh, he's a lefty or he's conservative or what. We could understand more. And I don't think that's what people are willing to do. They're not willing to actually understand. They have these conversations to win.
Yeah.
And it's not about winning, it's about understanding. The only way you do win is by understanding.
Is by understanding. That's a fact, man. So bro, that's solid. That's another Don DeMarco right there. Them solid advice.
Don DeMarco.
And I don't believe that, getting back to the shooting, I don't believe that was a clean shoot technically. I agree with what happened on the ground. I see why he did it, but I don't think that was a clean shoot. I think that officer did not have to put himself in that position. And even that he did put himself in front of the vehicle, I think he could have gotten away, moved away, and didn't have to discharge his weapon. But that's just my opinion. What Brother Glenn said is solid. And like I said, we both agree on what happened afterwards. It looked like it was a lot of fundamental breakdown and just training and securing. Like the scene and all that, but we'll see what happens. This thing is going to go the distance. We'll see what happens, man. So that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me, man. Like the new folks who came through, Glenn's people, hey, don't be shy. Come through when you see me. If you see me out here on broadcasting, man, come on over. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going to see me more on his podcast as well. I ain't been over there yet, but this year, but I'm normally over there raising hell, doing what we do. Really appreciate y'all. I got to go. I got to talk to this man about a bear. And so that's it. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. That's Glenn Lawrence over there. I'm DL Saint, and I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out. We out of here. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.